coming from. My ears are still ringing and bleeding. I guess we all knew from the start. These are the days my heart goes numb. You know, one of these days will be the one. We're looking for answers. Oh, what a disaster. These are the days my heart goes numb. My heart goes numb. Breathing the fumes of the ashes, the spirits light up the night, looking down the edge of forever. So stop me or take my advice.
Now, from the Untold Radio Network, it's Untold Radio AM with Doug and Alex Hajicek.
Hey, and we're back.
Right on time. Isn't this crazy, the weather? It's like 60s and it was 100 yesterday.
Yes.
What are you doing? I can tell you're doing something. What are you doing?
I got to turn my reminder emails, alerts off.
Oh,
My bad, guy. It's always something.
I know.
Yeah, but I know what you're saying. Hot, cold, hot, cold.
Yeah. It's actually cold today. Only in Minnesota. Okay. So I am fully recovered from Snow Grove.
Yes.
Took a week. It did. I was still beat. Sunday, I was still beat up.
I can only imagine. Yeah, roughing it out there.
I don't know what it is. Just, I think it's the adrenaline that you feel when you're up there. And speaking of adrenaline, so we have two of the men that I was up with, Adam Colt, Chris Reinhardt tonight, and then we have Brendon Brown from This Week in Bigfoot coming on, and we also have a bonus, Eric Palacios, who did a FOIA request and got a really weird response, and I want to talk about that.
Very cool. Yeah, I have it here. It's gonna be a packed show tonight.
Definitely packed. Yes, packed. We better get moving here. The other thing too, we're going to announce. It looks like we've just about put a deal together for an extended Legend Meets Science research project that I think everybody will be excited about. I think.
I'm excited.
Are you? Okay. It takes a lot to get you going, doesn't it? So this is episode 157, September 6th, 2023. The years is zinging by. There's some news, but I don't know what news I'd have that would really trump our guess. There's a woman that claims she took a photo way back in, I think it was August 2018 of a Loch Ness monster. And of course, I'm looking at the pictures. It's super interesting. The experts are going, oh, it's a sturgeon. It's a lake sturgeon. But I don't see any of the lake sturgeon bumps and the armor plates they have. So I don't know. I'm going to call it an unknown. But,
An unknown.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. I was actually studying those today. Whatever it is, it's got smooth skin. Very smooth skin. Almost looks seal-like it could be a seal, but then there's like two humps. I don't know, man. It's really got me weirded out. So, all right, we'll move on. The Pentagon launches a new website to provide declassified information on UFO sightings. So the
Declassified.
Pentagon has launched a UFO website. Yep.
That is incredible.
It is, but do you really think we'll get anything new out of it? I don't know.
Do you think it'll just be misinformation or stuff just everyone
It'd be
already
all
knows, the obvious?
Yeah. I don't know. I have no idea. Don't know. I haven't even gone to the website, so I'm gonna zip my lips. But it's called the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. Wow, that sure is a mouthful.
Yeah, that is.
All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, the AARO.
Wow.
Just sounds like already. It sounds like BS. You know. All
You're not buying
domain.
it.
What does that mean? All domain. I mean, you know, we all know what the word domain means, but I don't get the title. I would get anomaly resolution. That would be fine. But they're not resolving anything, you know. So
Yeah, we need answers, guys.
yeah. So let's see. Scientists investigate why wild boars are so damn radioactive.
What?
Yeah. Well, in Europe. Apparently all the wild boars are radioactive in Europe.
Jeez.
And they think it's, you know, obviously Chernobyl. I can't say it. Chernobyl in Russia. And then it was also all the nuclear testing that was done in like Germany and other places. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just bizarre. Super bizarre.
Yeah. So yeah, don't eat the pork.
Yep, don't eat the pork.
The weirdest news that I read is scientists in Japan think there is another Earth-sized planet in our solar system.
Really?
It's unknown. Yes.
That is.
So they're actually going out on a limb and saying they do predict the discovery of an Earth-like planet that is several I'm not even going to try to say this word. Several Newtonian objects. And apparently they're on an orbit. So they're in the outer solar system. They're on an orbit that's hidden.
Hidden?
Watching the leaning of the planets, the poles, and, you know, the wobble. And they're going, man, there's a planet out there. Could be Nibiru. Maybe it's Nibiru.
Yeah. I don't know what to make of it.
I don't either. And they are, let's see here, this comes from the, God, why does everything have to have such big, long names? The Patrika Sophia Laikawa Kindi University in Japan. And this comes from the National Astronomical Observatory in Japan. And they've written a new scientific paper on it. So, whatever.
How do you find this stuff?
The news? It was on the front page of the news. You got to read the news.
That's where it
What's the last time you actually read the news?
I got.
See,
Daddy
that's
for
the
that.
problem. A lot of people don't because it's all a bunch of BS, most of it.
But how do you filter through it?
You got to scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. And then you do a little research, you know, you click on it and do a little research. I don't know. And then the last thing I even wanted to talk about was scientists find a strange golden object on the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. I think I sent you a photo of that, photo 1.
Yeah. Let me pull it up here.
Which looks like a blob of nothing to me. And especially later on in the article, they admitted they vacuumed it up. Looks like something out of the Alien movie, like it's ready to bite somebody.
Right.
Swear to God, I see teeth in that thing.
Yeah.
Anyhow, some kind of new life. But they vacuumed it up, and they're going to have a follow-up on what it is. It's interesting.
It is.
It says, but the scientists' apparent relief, nothing ended up wiggling out of the egg. They think it could be an egg.
An egg.
Yep. They said it was like silk.
What do you guys think? What do you think this thing looks like to you?
I don't know. So it's pretty weird looking. Okay. So I wouldn't mind. There's a couple of clips I do want to go in before we bring our 3 guests on. And the reason I want to bring it up is clip 1. I just got done talking to Jeff Meldrum about gorillas and their air sacs. So let's do some of my strange clips. We'll skip a bunch of them and we'll just do a few.
You said clip 1?
Yeah, clip 1. This is what, and the sound is good. Sound is important, but this is what gorillas do before they beat their chest. So what you're going to hear are these dog-like sounds coming from this gorilla, and then it's going to leap up and beat its chest. Go ahead and play it, and listen careful as it fills its air sacs. You don't have the sound on, Alex.
I can hear it. Can you not hear it?
Yeah. Yeah, there we go. You hear that? Like a dog whining?
Yeah. Whoa.
It sounded dog-like. It certainly didn't sound like it came from a gorilla.
No.
But it's similar, believe it or not, similar to some of the sounds we heard up at Snowgrove.
So you think there's kind of a link there as far as sounds?
Could be. And then there's another one I play that's also Bigfoot related. Clip 4. Let's jump to clip 4. This is interesting. There's a lot of red flags on this, but it's still interesting. Clip 4. It's a Bigfoot, and you can play the sound. This is a piece of Bigfoot film. It's from a distance, of course. But we'll go ahead and just play it, and it'll be self-explanatory.
Sink Sasquatch captured on video in Utah. A couple of deer hunters traveling from base camp to Garden City to attend a meeting were appalled to see what they thought was a person hiking around in dark clothing during a rifle hunt. Very dangerous to be in an active large game hunting area without wearing hunter orange. They took a quick video and headed to their meeting. Later, several days later, doing a size comparison, they realized the creature in the video was a foot or 2 taller and twice as wide and twice as thick as a 6-foot-tall man that weighed 200 pounds.
And it does look like they got it lined up pretty well.
They took a second.
So you're the expert here. What are you noticing when you
Okay, the red flags are: 1, there's no vegetation. There's no trees. So there's no context. There's no original audio. I'd have to hear the original audio of the filmmakers.
So the original audio is missing.
Right. Plus, I also saw a post of this same video. They said it was in Yellowstone.
So the location has changed.
So the location has changed already. So numbers of red flags. But it's interesting. Also, kind of seems like stovepipe legs and arms.
The proportions seem off.
Yeah, it just seems a little, I don't know, but I could be wrong. I haven't really put a lot of time into it, but I'm me on that one. It's interesting. Okay, what else we got? It's really all I need to go. Let's do clip 7. 7A, and 7B are all about the same thing. It's just so amazing. And this is something I witnessed myself with dolphins. And there's actually, I think it's 7A is dolphins. But just go ahead and play one of them. It's the bioluminescence. It's from the plankton, phytoplanktons.
That's incredible. I've never seen a clip like that.
Yeah. Okay, just immediately go to clip 7A. And this is what I witnessed. For literally numerous hours, we had 2 dolphins in front of our boat. Oh, this is the sand. Yep, it'll light up too when you walk on it.
Wow. It's like magical almost.
Yeah, it is. And then go to the last one, clip 7B. No sound on 7B. Okay. Just play it.
I just wait for that thing to load.
What? There you go. So I witnessed this in the Sea of Cortez as we traveled from one spot to another, and we had 2 dolphins, It was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yep. Including a really huge squid I caught that night. Did the same thing as I was reeling it up. Fought it for a good hour. Got it up, and then it blew water out of its siphon.
That's awesome.
It was
Bad
pretty
to see
crazy.
that.
In the dark, yeah, it was pretty freaky. And it was glowing, the blue glow. So.
Yeah.
All right. So let's bring up Eric real quick here. And Eric is the investigator. He owns Media Palace. He's the investigator of Brushy Creek in Texas.
Yeah, we've had Eric on before.
Yep, we have. Yep. Is Eric there? There we go. Hey, Eric.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
So Eric has been a busy boy. He's been writing a bunch of FOIA requests.
Yeah.
On Bigfoot footage. And boy, did you get a really interesting response. It kind of blew my mind, actually. So let's go ahead and just tell us the story of what happened here.
Yeah, so like you said, I've been doing a lot of FOIA requests for a lot of different things, things that I kind of have a little breadcrumbs for and stuff like that. So I figured why not kind of do the research and figure out if there's anything more to that. And this one particular event I knew took place in a certain area, took place in a national park. And I knew the authorities were called, and I knew it was Bigfoot, Sasquatch involved. And so I did the digging, and I was actually able to find an incident report number for the event. And the incident report number is actually NP19127816. And there was a summary report about that too. I might talk about that a little bit later. So I pretty much did a FOIA request with that incident report number. And since I had the incident report number, it's pretty much undeniable that they had a Bigfoot incident on file. That's a fact.
But okay, well, let me interrupt you, Eric. Is this
ahead.
Washington, D.C. or Washington State?
Well, you might need to pull up that image just for people to see what we're talking about. But
yeah, go ahead, Alex.
It was actually a national park that was in the South. I don't know if you want me to read that or if
go ahead.
wants to read that.
Go ahead.
It says, Dear Eric Palacios, the search for the documents responsive to your request has revealed 4 videos, 2 taken on the day of the incident and 2 taken the next day at the subject's home. The Washington FOIA office has determined the 2 videos taken at the person's residence of the individual will be withheld for a large amount of personal identifying information. So real quick, none of this took place in Washington. This was a national park in the South. So there's a couple of things here. What is Washington doing looking at this? How did it get there? Who sent it there? Exactly. Whatever. And the second is, Doug, have you ever known the national park system to go to someone's house?
No, never.
Okay. And apparently there was things that they took from the house as well. And unfortunately from this email, it doesn't look like they want to release whatever that is. But we know it's Bigfoot Sasquatch related. That's undeniable. We know that. It's a fact.
Yep. We're talking 4 different videos.
4 different videos, which is it's pretty hardcore. And real quick, let me get to the bottom of this because this is kind of where it gets a little bit weird too. And I also have hopefully it's been a few months, but I should be receiving the actual incident report, because all there was an incident summary report, which was about 2 sentences of what took place there. Bigfoot is in, or Sasquatch is in that summary report there. So here's what they sent me, saying we're not requiring fees for the cost of searching or reviewing or redacting the written documents, but the cost of redacting the videos would be responsibility of you, the requester, using the formula provided by Washington FOIA office. The redaction would cost an estimated $3,120 to be performed in-house, or $5,000 to use a professional redaction company.
Yeah, and that's just to put a blur on somebody's license plate or
Exactly. Well, who knows? They might be.
I'd love to be able to get $3,000 to just put a blur up in somebody's license plate.
Exactly.
Yeah, where do I get that work?
Exactly.
So I'm really, really hoping that I somehow end up getting the funds to make this possible, because I think this is going to be a big deal. Okay, I think this is a big deal because we know this event was it's plain as day. It happened 100%. There's documentation saying it happened.
God knows. It's
exactly. So this is just one of
pretty freaky.
Yeah, this is like one of 12 that I have open right now.
Yeah.
But one of the more interesting ones, because again, we talked privately and you said we could speculate all night long.
Yeah.
We need to figure out what is on these videos.
Is it possible to just request the written docs first and see what they say?
I'm waiting for that. I've been waiting for this, Doug. I believe I sent this out in April.
I know, but did you actually then do the sub request for the written documents?
It's all one piece in the FOIA request. I put it everything, audio, documentation.
But the letter
video.
makes it look like they're not going to send the written.
That's what it feels like. Yeah,
I would say yes. Please just forward the written.
Oh no, I have an email saying that they're working on it. They're still. I guess they're redacting it. It's going to be a redacted memo.
Yeah.
It's going to be a redacted memo. So we're going to get some information out of it, and hopefully, what's weird is that pretty quick, I believe it was like 2 months after I did the original FOIA request, they sent the video thing immediately, saying, "Hey, we have some stuff, but it's going to cost you $5,000. You still want it or not?"
But don't you find it odd nobody else has requested this, or no one else has gotten this response?
Well, I don't know if anyone else is doing what I'm trying to do.
Super odd.
Somebody
should do it. Somebody should do a FOIA to the Bureau of Land Management.
I got something for that.
I can give you some clues on where to head.
Yeah, no, like I said, I have about 12 open, and these are for different agencies. All the way from, U.S. Forestry to national parks, USDA, which is kind of weird, but USDA is also involved in this. And so the other thing is oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought. I totally forgot what I was going to say, but I find it really weird that the UFO stuff started kind of happening, and people that are in the community, the Bigfoot community, they kind of have this resentment to government knowing anything about Bigfoot. But with these recent UFO hearings and stuff, if they have the stuff on UFOs and people are admitting that Bigfoot is real, why would they not have anything related to Bigfoot? That's just kind of preposterous to me.
There's no doubt they've been involved in numerous cases where the police have been involved, the feds have been involved. I've talked to several people where feds have showed up, when there's been encounters. All right, well, there's not much we can do this, but if there's any way we can help you, where we can collaborate or something to figure out a way to raise the money to at least, get these videos, God knows, they might be amazing videos. It could be some dude in a suit, who knows?
Well, this incident involved someone shooting at a Sasquatch. We know that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things at play here. That person, if it was just a guy in a suit, he's facing felony charges to start discharging a gun in a national park, potentially at someone.
Yeah.
So who really knows? We're not really sure, but we know the documentation exists. We know there's 4 videos that exist. These are federal videos that they've had since 2019. So.
Also, John Ayers mentioned you should do a FOIA request to the Department of Agriculture.
Yeah, definitely. I just remembered exactly what was going on. Okay, so I'm working on all these FOIA requests. I'm letting everybody right now know if anyone's interested in doing a FOIA request. The FOIA.gov website is about to be over. They are decommissioning the FOIA.gov website at September 30th. So they actually have a countdown on their website right now.
Oh, great.
Saying that if you're trying to do a FOIA request, you need to go to after September 30th. You actually have to go to that individual commission or that independent, whatever it is, and do it through them, which is going to suck, which is really going to suck because the FOIA.gov had a lot of tools to, send things where they needed to go all in one place. And this is just, it's going to suck. It's going to make FOIA requests a lot harder.
Yeah, well, that's not good news. Okay, so Eric has also uncovered through kind of a long story. We don't need to get into the whole story, but this took you weeks to find based on a tip. Do you have those pictures, Eric, that you can share?
Yeah, I have those pictures. Give me a second.
Okay, so Eric he gets a tip from a construction worker. They don't want to go up there. They don't want to show him where this is. Then Eric, after long searching, finds this crazy wall built over a cave, stone wall. And it's got a stone, what I think is a Bigfoot face.
I don't know if you're able to see that, Alex.
On a wall. Well, we don't see anything, And then
there we go.
And then it's got a huge steel door that weighs what we figured 1,300.
Yeah, over 1,300 pounds. Yeah. When I did the research on that door, it's a Mosler door, which Mosler is a bank vault company.
Yeah.
And this door wasn't made after 1955 or something like that.
But it locks from the outside, everybody.
Only from the outside.
Yeah, it's like, okay, it's meant to lock something in.
Oh my god!
And the windows, it's got windows. They're like breathing holes.
Exactly, and it has that gigantic stone face there that just kind of.
Yeah, can you zoom in? Is there any way?
I don't know if Alex can zoom in.
Alex, is there any way to?
It's up to you, Eric. If you can pilot that in.
Okay, let me see. Is that better?
There we
go.
There we go. Yeah.
You can see the nose and the mouth.
And it's a really strange structure. These construction workers found it. I have the video in my documentary, The Beast of Brushy Creek, the original video of them finding it. And they're scared to death. They don't go inside. They're looking at it and they're like, no way we're going in there.
And you only explored so much of it, correct?
Yeah, we didn't feel comfortable doing the rest of the cave because it was two of us.
Yeah.
We did not have the gear. We weren't expecting it. We weren't expecting to find it. It took me 2 weeks to find it with just a general location and GPS coordinates. We were able to find it with GPS mapping and stuff.
So Sasquatch Outpost asks where it's located. It's near the Brushy Creek area.
Very close to the Brushy
in
Creek,
Texas.
Williamson County, Texas. Yeah.
Yep.
Which has a long history of Bigfoot activity dating back to the 1800s.
Yep. Missing people.
We have a road here that's Hairy Man Road. That is a historic sighting that took place in 1966. And we have all the names of the people that were involved in that sighting. So there's been a long history of weird stuff. And then Doug, that other face. I have that other face. I don't know if you want to see that one.
Sure, that one's a little harder to.
We know it's a face. It's been seen by people in the area since the
go ahead and throw it up.
in the 1800s.
And then how are we doing on time here?
Well, we're going to bring everybody up here in a minute.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Give me a second. Let me see if I can. I'm going to try to pull this other one up here.
Yeah.
Where is it? Okay. So this is in the same area. I don't know if you're able to see that.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had a hard time picking out the face, but then I see the nose.
Yeah, I mean, you can see.
It looks pretty ancient.
You can see the fangs there. There's fangs there. Why the hell does what needs fangs?
But apparently you have a location of this and you're going to do a search for it.
I have a general location for that. This picture was taken in 1967, I want to say. There are no other photographs of this, what they call the Bear Man. This is the only photo of it. And I want to do a LiDAR scan. I want to do high definition photos, video.
Yeah.
And that's the plan. That is the plan to get out there eventually. It's just too damn hot right now.
So yeah, you can definitely check out his YouTube channel. What's the name of the YouTube channel, Eric?
Media Palace.
Media Palace.
And if you want to check out the documentaries, The Beast of Brushy Creek is on Amazon and Tubi, and it's on my YouTube as well. So and then I have the Legend of Hairy Man Road, which kind of focuses on the Hairy Man Road legend. So.
All right. Well, if you want to hang out, we're gonna bring up Adam and Adam Colt and Chris Reinhardt. So our next two guests are Adam Colt, who went up to Snell Grove with me, and Chris was part of it. Joe Frischella, Bud was up there. I believe it's Bud Johnson, and we all went up there, had a great time, and we had a lot of activities. So and Adam also was the one that did the 30-day solo camping trip. So, but let's go ahead and bring everybody up here.
Did we want to get Brendon on too?
Yeah, we'll bring Brendon on just a few here.
Okay, cool.
Nice coat.
Hey guys.
Is that your outdoor coat, Adam?
Yeah, this is my back to the 80s. I'm back in the studio right now.
Oh, okay. We got Chris there on the right. So, let's go ahead and just quickly summarize what the hell happened up at Snow Grove while we were up there.
Well, it was exciting, that's for sure. And I didn't get a whole lot of sleep because you kept waking me up, Doug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
So we have a lot of interesting stuff to go through. We got some stuff to find. Yeah.
But tell us about the activity, or maybe Chris wants to.
Sure.
I mean, it started night one.
You want me to tell the night one story?
Sure. Go ahead and tell the night one story.
Oh, it was amazing. So amazing and funny. So there's 3 of us sleeping in a room, and there's a bunk bed and a single. And Doug's right across the room from me. And at 1:30 in the morning, he wakes me up, and he's like, "They're here." And I'm like, "What?" And it's my very first time at Snow Grove, and I'm super excited to be up there. But it's 1:30 in the morning, and I'm literally asleep. We had an exhausting travel day. You know, we went fishing for our dinner, and so we basically were sitting there. I'm exhausted, and Doug's like, "They're here," and I'm like, "They're here?" He's like, "Yeah, I can hear them walking around outside." And then we hear like a hand push the siding, because it's a steel siding and steel roof, low maintenance, and it pushes the siding and it goes kink. And Doug's like, "I could feel them pushing on the side of the building." I'm like, "What?" And then he falls back asleep, and I hear the loudest noise 15 minutes later, and I'm like, "Doug, Joe, everybody, do you hear that?" And they're both like, what? And luckily Chris was in the next room and he heard it as well. So I wasn't dreaming. It shook the building, and it was so loud. They must have. Chris, go ahead and describe it.
The way I felt a vibration on my back. Was up against the back of the building. There's like two bedrooms on each side of the cabin, one on the left and one on the right. We were on the right-hand side, and the 3 of them were on the left. My back was up against a wall, and when that happened, I heard it, and then I felt the vibration shake my back, like just shake, and I was wide awake, and then all of a sudden Adam comes across the cabin. He's like, "Oh, things are going down." I'm like, "Well, yeah, I know. Something just woke me up and shook the cabin." And then he proceeded to tell me what went on in that room. So two of us definitely felt it, and Doug was onto him outside, and that's how the whole trip started off, and it did not disappoint for the rest of the trip. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, the way it was described to me, because I slept through the big one, was that like something had taken a big stick, had gone to the outside of the cabin, obviously the outside. Thank God it was in the outside, and put a big stick up on the rafters that are about 18 inches apart, holding the steel roof on. And went boom, 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 boom. Correct? We
recreated that with the stick that we found on the back porch. That was, I guess everybody took a inventory, and that stick was never there. I know. Yeah, there was no way that was there until it showed up the next day. But it was like a big, like a wooden, like a 2x2. It was a 2x2. 2x2. And and there was rafters that would stick out past the roof, and it just sounded like boom, something just raked it right across the top of the roof, and the roof is 12 feet up. I mean, you have to have a stick to grab it. So,
well, see, what Adam doesn't know is I was listening to him for probably a good 15-20 minutes before I just couldn't believe it, because I hadn't been up there in 8 years. I just couldn't believe they were back. I could hear him walking, the heavy footsteps. I could hear him jumping up on the porch. And I didn't wake you up until I heard a bucket get kicked.
I remember
that was on the porch, a plastic bucket. And that plastic bucket went boing. And I went, okay, I'm going to wake Adam up now.
Yeah, and we did find that right away in the audio recordings. The bucket kicked the bucket, yep.
So then obviously we had stuff happen the second night too, just as it started the same exact time, about 1:30 in the morning. And then we can kind of jump a little bit to the last day, because I had left early, one day early with Joe. Left you, Chris, and Bud alone up there. And you guys were, I don't think anything happened the night I was gone, correct?
Not that we know of. We haven't reviewed all the
No, I know that. Yeah.
footage yet, but we went all out that night. We tried a whole bunch of different stuff that we didn't try all week. I'm not going to give away what we tried, but we haven't gone through all the audio yet, and who knows? But they sure as heck showed up the next morning. That's for sure.
Do you want to just tell us quickly what happened?
How far do you want me to get into? What do you want me to say, and what do you want me to say? You want me
Well,
to
we'll hold the story for a second. Let's get Brendon in here, and he can hear this live too. And so Brendon Brown is coming up here. He is the, I guess, I don't know if you'd call him an owner. He's the guy that put together the This Week in Bigfoot, and God, he's from I can never get this right. CARC Universal. This Week in Bigfoot. It's a great little show that it's every Friday. It's about 30 minutes long.
It's the fastest half hour.
Fastest half hour in the Bigfoot world, yes. And so let's go ahead and bring Brendon on. And he's a journalist and a researcher.
Should we go to a quick commercial break and then bring him on? Or you want me?
No, let's skip the commercial break.
Okay.
Skip that commercial, gentlemen.
We'll do it in a bit here.
We'll do it live.
There you go.
Hey, Brendon.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Hey, so you're sitting with two of the guys that were up at Snowgrove with me, Chris Reinhardt and Adam. And what I was going to announce that we've just about put a deal together where Adam himself and is Bud it's Johnson, right?
No,
Online.
Heinlein.
Oh, Heinlein. Why do I get Johnson? So it's the first time I've ever met Bud. But they're going to go back up to Snell on Tuesday. Correct?
Possibly, yeah. We're having technical difficulty right now. So
yeah. So if we can get all this new technology together and work out whatever we need for all these expenses and put a deal together with Adam and Bud, they're going to go back up there for 30 days is the plan, which is going to be using technology that's never been used in history. We know they were there. Yes, guys, we had lots of cameras up there, but we did not want to use them for red light. That's a big deal because they were literally standing on top of our cameras. Literally standing and beating.
Oh my God.
You can actually hear them beating with a stick or something right up. It's like they were just pounding above the cameras. And we captured lots of stuff. I mean, it's kind of incredible. So that's kind of what's going on. And Chris was about to finish his story, Brendon. So go ahead, Chris, tell us. It's an amazing story. It really is.
All right. So the morning came that we were leaving. We tried the whole night before. Adam and Bud had a bunch of ideas. They tried everything and set up all their experiments. And we packed up everything that morning. And when Bud went to collect the cameras, he was the first one up out of bed. He was getting knocked at. He got 2 big knocks at him when he tried going around the building. And I actually caught on film and recorded. He had his little GoPro with him, and he caught both of them. He was collecting all the cameras, going back and forth, and then he went back to pick up this one camera that was behind the outhouse, and all of a sudden he started having pine cones thrown at him over the outhouse, one by one over the outhouse. So he came back inside, and he met up with Adam. He said, Adam, we're getting pine cones thrown at him. Got to come out here and see what it is. So Adam proceeded to go out there with Bud, and now they're both sitting on the back deck watching the pine cones come over the outhouse, and now the tree next to the outhouse starts shaking, and then it stops, and then the pine cones continue. Now I wake up, I come out on the back porch. All three of us, now this is funny story. All three of us have a cup of coffee in our hands, and we're sitting on the back porch watching these pine cones coming at us over the top of the outhouse, just one after the other. Boom, boom, boom. So we watched this for a little while, and then it finally ended. And then we're just packing, we're getting ready, we're waiting for the plane. So I don't normally whoop or knock or any of that stuff, but so we figured, what the heck? We're here at Snow Grove Lake. Let's just give it a try. So I give out 2 big whoops. I go whoop, whoop, and then
Chris has a really good whoop, guys.
Yeah, and then Bud yodels. He goes yodelay hee hoo, and then as soon as he hit that this knock. I look at my hair is standing straight up right now. This knock, I have never, ever, ever heard of it. I have never heard anybody talk about it. It was so loud, we felt it penetrate our chests.
And you had to coin a new phrase to describe it to me.
Call it the thunder knock, because that's exactly how it was started. It went, boom, like the loudest crack you have ever heard. And me and Bud were standing next to each other, and we both look at each other, and we don't ask if we heard it. Bud asked if I felt it, because he felt it. We could tell how high that knock came over our heads. We both said 8 feet. That's how it was, like a wave. It hit us like a wave. But that knock, I wish we recorded it. That knock was like a car crash 50 yards from us. Like it sounded just like a lightning bolt. Like you hear the lightning, you know, that, and then bam! It was. As Adam was there, he heard it too, and it was just like, holy cow!
No, it was not. It was not thunder or lightning because it was a clear blue sky.
No, it was a clear. Yeah, it was the most beautiful day we had the entire time. And what was amazing about the thunder knock is, and it's a great term because that's exactly what it was.
The thunder knock.
I got a slightly different perspective because I was on the end of the dock and I heard 2 responses from across the lake to the thunder knock.
Wow.
And Doug has a theory about leaving Snell Grove, and I think you're right on the money, Doug.
Yeah.
Right. So then the plane shows up 10 minutes later, and she pulls in and she does her routine. She's got to check for gas and the propane and everything. She lifts up one of the propane tanks and then she puts it down. And then from the back of the cabin, again, crack, this big, loud knock comes again from behind the cabin, and me and Bud are sitting there right there at that moment. She starts walking towards the knock. I'm like, Bud, you got to go with her. That was just like 10 feet from us. And so he proceeds to follow her around the back of the building, and she never heard anything because, she wasn't paying attention or whatever, but we heard it. It was plain as day. But that knock that we heard that morning, I've never heard it ever explained. I've never heard it on a recording. I've been doing this for 8 years. I've never heard anybody talk about it. It went through our bodies. Yeah. You could feel the vibration on our chests. It was incredible. Incredible.
Well, Brendon, you must have some questions for these guys.
Oh, guys, so first of all, I need to book a flight and get the hell up there, right? Because it sounds like I don't know how you could sleep through this whole thing. I'd stay up all night, right? Drink coffee and stay up. It's amazing. It's strange because you said that the one girl or the pilot didn't hear it, right? If it's that loud, right?
I witnessed it, and she was simultaneously putting she had her head bent over because she was carrying a very heavy double-sized propane tank, and she literally put the propane tank down at the same time as the knock. So I'm sure to her it was the same thing.
It sounds. I mean, it's we got a sneak peek of this last week when Doug was on the show, and this now he's filling in it was like a Mad Libs. He didn't give me all the good stuff, right? This is like the thunder knock and stuff like that. So it's amazing. So you got a lot of footage to go through, right? So you had cameras rolling outside the cabin. If these things are, everybody says flesh and blood. I don't technically believe that they're flesh and blood. I think there's something more to it. But I mean, there's got to be something. You're going to have some great footage, and I think we're just building up. LMS2 is going to be I mean, it's going to be worth the wait, first of all, right? 20 years, and it's going to be. I mean, it's going to change the paradigm. It's going to shift the whole paradigm of what Bigfoot documentaries are about, which is like the first one did. And I can't wait. And this is really freaking cool, man.
Yeah, I can't wait.
A lot of fun.
I can't wait till Legends Meet Science comes out either. I got to meet Doug and hear about everything and what's going on. And I mean, everybody was down to earth, great people, great guys. Everybody got along like bread and butter. We were there for one reason. We were there for Bigfoot. That's what we were there.
Well, I hope so.
I mean, Bigfoot, you know, some people have, you know, other ultimatums when they show up and go on expeditions. You know, they get they got a head case, or, you know, they want to do things their way. There was no argument. There was nothing like that. It was perfect. It was perfect. And we made reservations, and we are booked to go back next year at the same week again. So
that's awesome.
Super excited.
Yeah, actually, Brendon, our activities started before we got there. I don't know if you want to tell that story, Chris.
I don't even want to go into that story.
No, yeah, it's
that's a great story, Chris.
The plane ride? Is this the plane ride?
No.
Oh, the drive-in.
Yeah.
All right, so we're in Canada, and we're coming around this corner, and Doug and Adam and Joe are up in front of us, and it's me and Bud in the rental car in back of them. And they come around a corner, and all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I see a tree, and it's like a hurricane wind is blowing this tree it's a 30-foot pine tree, and it's going back like this. I mean, violently shaking like this. And I turn and look at Bud, and Bud's looking at the same thing I'm looking at. I'm like, Bud, what is shaking that tree? And he's like, I have no idea. And it's just like, it's like a hurricane on one tree. No, we're looking all over, but no winds blowing anywhere else. It was just one singular tree. So we got up to the outfitter, and we tell him what happened. He goes, well, I'll tell you right now, it was no moose, because the moose aren't even in rut yet. So they're not even pushing trees or nothing. So I don't know what can push a 30-foot pine tree over to almost.
Yeah, and we tested, you know, trying to move a tree. We couldn't even budget it.
With two guys at the same time.
Yeah.
There's no logging, no logging machinery up there, nothing like that?
There was
no bunchers or anything like that?
It was a one singular tree, just like a hurricane was blowing this tree.
If you would have seen this area, Brendon, it was.
I got to get up there. Where's my invitation?
This road cut through the forest that was just endless, and we did have a moose sighting on the road.
And Chris, from what you told us, it was just off the side of the road, right? It wasn't deep in the forest. It was just right there.
Yeah, it was 10 feet off the side road, and there was a car probably about 50 yards in back of us. So whatever was going to happen probably after us, and that car got to witness whatever it was, because I've never seen a tree shake like that, except when you're watching the Weather Channel during a hurricane, bent over like that. Crazy.
Yeah, because you described it as violent. Like it was violent.
Just like back and forth. And me and Bud are just like, what is going on? Yep. So
we kind of knew it was going to be a good trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you witness something like that before you even get to your destination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you described the thunder knock, and I can only think back to when the cabin first got attacked the first night, where they were lifting the cabin off the foundation and rocking it back and forth, and throwing things at the cabin. I mean, it's just, I couldn't comprehend the strength. I couldn't fathom it, as if I'm sure you couldn't fathom the thunder knock.
Yeah, I have no idea how it made that noise. It wasn't a tree breaking. I don't know what it did. Because if sun hit a tree that hard, you would hear it snap and fall. You would hear that, and goosh. This was just, it was like a lightning bolt hitting something. It was mid-morning, it was 11 o'clock. The sun was beaming, and it was 50 yards away from us. And then it made its way, we could tell it made its way around to the back of the cabin, because we could hear Bud was following it, and you could hear it come around the back of the cabin. So
these things, Brendon, were opening and closing the outhouse door.
And nobody saw anything?
It was, okay, first off, there was thick cloud cover, no moon and no stars. It was blacker than black could ever be. You couldn't see something 1 inch in front of your face.
Brendon, we did a test. I brought a very expensive Sony A7 Mark III up.
Hold on. With a 500,000 ISO speed.
Right. And we put a 100 to 400 lens on that sucker, and we were out in the front porch testing it, and we couldn't see anything on the screen. And guess what? We shined just the glimpse of our headlamp, and the whole forest lit up.
Right.
So if we would have had any starlight or any moonlight, we would have been able to see stuff, but it was blacker than black up there.
Yeah, that's crazy because I have a AS7 right here. That's what I'm using for my webcam, and I don't have the Mark III, but I mean, I tell you, you're dead on correct. You can see in almost pitch black if you have just a little bit of starlight.
Just a little bit of light. Yep.
Yeah.
Doug and we did an experiment. We could see clear across the lake in pitch black in the cities. Yeah.
Because of the ambient light from the buildings and porch lights. So to me and everybody listening, I really do believe if you can take your cameras, tape over the IR lenses, the lights, and use ambient light, because Adam was really impressed when we did that up in Reamer, when we had a full moon or we had stars. It was beautiful, the picture. Detailed and gorgeous.
It's such a good camera. It really is. You're right, Adam.
Brendon, I'm talking about just surveillance cameras are even beautiful when there's moonlight or stars. Because if a Bigfoot comes up to the IR lights, it's just going to get blown out. It's just going to be a white. You're not going to see any details.
And you see that all the time, right? You see these photos, and it's just a washed out nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Baloney.
I got a Doug had an "I told you so" moment. He got me. He doesn't get me very often, but he got me because he was like, "Turn the cameras into night vision mode, but turn the IR lights off." And I'm like, "That won't work. There's no light." But what we forget is that the sunlight is made up of the entire spectrum. So when it's bouncing off the moon, it's bouncing IR off as well. So there's natural IR everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we get burned by ultraviolet, but there's still IR coming off the moon.
Yeah.
That's good.
By the way, Deborah, yes, we did pee off the porch. We had our little pee thing. In fact, I looked one night and Chris was collecting urine.
Oh, geez.
Dump it on the corner because we're doing a line. Basically, this is our territory, not your territory over there.
I think I've been caught on camera a couple times. So
yeah, we had a camera aimed at that.
That'll be in the bonus roll, right?
Our goal was to go low, to hide the cameras way under the porch in hopes of just getting a leg, a foot, a toenail, the feet. Yeah. To me, that was the ultimate thing because they didn't see those damn cameras.
They walked right on top of them.
They walked right on top of them,
yeah.
Huh. What about a plot watcher, Doug? You ever thought about one of those?
Yeah, we've used one up at Randy's, and it doesn't get anything. It's just too big, it's too big.
One of the best photos I've seen was in Louisiana from a plot watcher, and I have to see if I can get that to you. But yeah,
get it to me, and I'm sure I might not agree that's what it's supposed to be.
How's the resolution on those on the plot? How's the resolution on that?
It looks like an older cell phone, to be honest with you. But I think I thought the one that
Randy's got's high def.
Okay, yeah, this one I think was a little older, from the late 2000 teens, something like that. But it wasn't bad. It was interesting with the picture.
I have one in that it's older and doesn't film at night. Number one, it shuts down. You can't even get night footage off of it, and it's like an older cell phone, older cell phone footage for sure. But it's a great concept. It just takes picture after picture after picture
Right.
So if we can find a camera that does that at night, that just takes picture after picture after picture, I think would be a great thing.
Yeah. Now, are there? Can I ask a question here? There must be some tall trees. It's too bad you couldn't get one way up somewhere, kind of looking down.
Well, last night we actually did that. We climbed a ladder and we got up high and we put some cameras out last night as well.
Do you think that would be like kind of under the deck, right? It would kind of be like out of the peripheral, it's like kind of.
Chris had a brilliant idea because there was already some clotheslines strung between the trees that had been there for months, maybe even years. And we disguised all the battery cables as clotheslines, and it looked just like a clothesline. It was great.
That's a great idea. That's thinking out. I think it's going to be thinking outside this little box to try to yeah. I mean, that's an awesome idea. No, I wouldn't have thought of that.
I always tell people, Brendon, if somebody gets a Bigfoot with modern surveillance gear, it will be a multi-step process. It isn't going to just be throwing a camera up on a tree. It's not going to.
No, and I agree with you on that. It's got
to be a multi-step process of really getting tricky. Tell them about the one camera that we know would work. I believe with the right bait. The pork chop surprise.
We called one of the cameras was called Pork Chop Surprise, and we had some extra pork chops that we weren't going to be able to eat. So Doug told us that in the past, people left their perishables out in the back, way behind the outhouse. Yeah. And so we went out there, and we it was a nice mossy ground. We dug up the moss. We put the camera and the battery pack underground. We covered it with moss and just had the lens showing. And then we carefully positioned all these pork chops around the camera so that the top pork chop was, if they lifted that up, they were busted. The camera would be just right on. So
every other pork chop is taken except for that one.
Well, we realized they probably don't eat pork chop.
Right.
It should have been the walleye. It should have been the walleye surprise.
It should have been walleye steaks. Yeah.
I'm wondering how you have extra pork chops.
Yeah, Eric, I was the same thing. Who has an extra pork chop?
No way, not my house.
No such thing.
Well,
I don't know.
That's because Doug is such a good fisherman. He fed us all. Every time I caught one fish, I think the whole time. Doug was just like throwing them back. 15, 16, 17,
50, 78.
Guy from River Monsters, right? That's what I was saying.
Yeah, it was really impressive. He bragged about his fishing, and then he actually showed.
He backed it off.
Right? And he delivered.
Yeah. He delivered.
Doug, show off.
Yeah, but then I had to clean them all. I had to clean them all, Brendon.
So what? How long does that take, right? If you catch all these fish, you must be able to clean them.
30 feet away from Doug, and we're not catching anything, and Doug is just throwing them back.
Yeah. Dr. Awesome. Juice.
Yeah, right. No, it wasn't Dr. Juice. I put the Dr. Juice in your boat, Chris.
Yeah, he did. Doug gave us the juice. He goes, "It's not the juice, guys," and I used it. I didn't catch anything.
I used the juice too. It didn't work.
Yeah,
but
it's not the juice; it's how you use it.
What a place!
Exactly.
Anybody?
But go ahead, Adam. Just real quick. You were willing to go up to Snell alone. He calls me up the other night, and he's like, "I got permission from my wife to go back to Snowgrove for 30 days alone." Yeah. And I'm like, "Are you nuts? After what we just went through, you're gonna go up there alone? You're gonna get eaten."
I'll come.
Yeah.
I went in.
Okay, Brandon.
That's awesome.
I wouldn't go up there alone, Adam. Never.
Come on, Doug.
Not now. Believe it or not, I used to go there alone.
I know. That's how you started, right?
Yeah, but I wasn't doing Bigfoot research, though. It was just a happy place.
Yeah,
it's a place you saw a moose or a caribou or something. You didn't see Bigfoot.
You didn't know he was in danger.
Doug filled us in on all the activity that was up there, and it got really scary after we heard all the stories. And so, Chris has had a really close call that, there's some, I haven't had that yet. I haven't been scared out of my wits quite yet. So I'm still green. And
looking for that. Well, you're looking for that, right?
I haven't faced that fear yet.
Yeah, but you want it though, right, Adam?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the stuff right there.
I want to see it.
I want to be terrified.
Well, there's nothing around for 500 square miles. Nothing. Yeah. There's no roads. There's no nothing. You're by yourself, 500 square miles, and if you're in trouble and that satellite phone doesn't work, you might as well just say your prayers where you are because you're not coming out.
Yeah, but what a way to go!
I rented a satellite phone. And that gave everybody a little security.
Yeah, that was great. Bud and I were joking that the next time we go out with Chris, we're gonna have to bring a shark cage so that he can go into it for safety.
Like those panic room, like a panic room.
Yep.
Well, we had figured the bathroom was the panic room. There's a kind of a small room with just a sink in it and a shower, and that would be the most secure room. But did you see the video footage that Chuck did for the insurance when the pipes were just crunched down? Have you seen that, Adam? With the pipes and
you showed it to me a while ago. I don't remember that specific picture, but
see, the pipes are just solid steel pipes are just bent downwards.
Oh yeah, I do remember that one. Yeah. Can I tell a funny story?
Go ahead.
Okay. What I found hilarious about the cabin is that the first night we get in there, we all kind of had this sense of security, and then the event happened and they banged on the side of the cabin. And the next night we put one butter knife in the door jamb because the doors don't lock, right? So the butter knife at least stopped the door from opening, right? The next night there was 2 butter knives. The next night there was 3 butter knives. And the following night, like all the doors had butter knives jammed into every crevice. So that it was really funny.
Yeah. It wouldn't stop an otter.
It made you feel better though, just like the cell phone. It made you feel better.
Yeah, a false sense of security. Yeah,
exactly.
They're on the front.
What more do you need?
Back porch walking around. They're in the outhouse, or they were everywhere. They were every corner of that place. They were.
Yeah, that's true. Okay,
how many nights were you guys up there for? How many nights?
6
nights. 6.
So Brendon, tell us.
Sir.
We want to hear about your reason for even getting involved in this crazy.
Well, it's funny because I've looked into this. Is everybody has a path to Bigfoot, right? Everybody has and I think I'm a firm believer that everybody has a life-changing moment, whether it's a death in the family, whether it's an injury, whether it's a divorce, whether it's a sighting or an encounter that leads them to this insanity, right? This Bigfoot insanity, and I had moved back. So before this, I toured, right? I was a tour manager for rock bands like Papa Roach, Linkin Park, Deftones, stuff like that, right? And so I'd been around the world, and I moved back to New York from Seattle, and I got hurt, and I had to have surgery. And so I'm just scrolling through YouTube, right, looking at these things, and suddenly these feeds show up, Sasquatch, Bigfoot, and I'm like, this is kind of cool. Like the people that are doing this, I want to meet these people and talk to these people, and why are these people doing this insane thing? Because it's complete. I didn't get it. And the more I got into it, I'm like, let me start a channel, right? So I started the channel in December or February of 2019 or something like that. And then one thing led to another. I'm like, let me start the group. So Doug, it's the CARC, which is the Catskill Appalachian Research Collective. And so we started that, and then we started investigating and stuff like that, and filming and doing videos and stuff like that. And then, we went out and we were up in the Allegheny National Forest, and we were doing research in the middle of nowhere as far as we could get. It was about 3:00 in the morning, and it was raining, and the video is actually on our channel, and we had a really loud yell, and it was not far from where we were. And I grew up and I live in the sticks, right? I live in a small town in upstate New York, and a lot of my friends, most of my friends, all of them actually hunt and fish and outdoorsmen, right? So, there's nothing outside that really can hurt you, right? But I had that aha moment where I go, there's something more to this. And then I was hooked, right? I kind of got into it, and then I started talking to more people. And it's fascinating community, right? It's right when you talk to somebody and you're like, I can't take this anymore. And then you meet somebody that had a valid, really good experience that isn't insane, isn't delusional, and so I'm hooked on having that moment again, like the yell and the scream out of our shoulders. We had it on camera, we had it on film. And then, so I want that again, right? You're kind of chasing the brass ring, and I love it, right? I love it, and that's why doing the show that we do now, I I tell you, man, I look through everything, and it's fun because there's a lot of characters out there. Chris, I cover your show all the time, man. I do because I watch it. Like it's on the show. We have a podcast, a live stream show, and it's fun because there's a lot of really great people, and that's why the story that you're telling me about Snellgrove, because I was a huge fan of the original Monster Quest, probably just like everybody else was, right? That's when History Channel played really good content, and I don't think anybody could stack up anything against that original series because pound for pound, it was great. And so putting that together, I love being that guy that tries to put things together, like when we do the video and edit it and put it down and do the effects and do all that stuff. I like that because it has to be digestible, right? You want it to be presentable, but if you have 6 guys in the woods looking at their feet, right, you don't want to create stuff. But 99.9% of the time, you're just sitting around looking at your feet, listening. But you have to have the cameras rolling or the video or the tape recorders rolling when you have that moment. Because if you don't have that to show to somebody, then you just have a story. And so I'm in constant search for that aha moment, right? The stuff that you guys were up there, that's why I'm like, oh my God, I would be up there. I'd be on the roof. I'd be sitting there trying to film. I'd stay up all night. I'd drink coffee. I wouldn't do anything. You know, and I would be the guy in the room with guys like this. Right?
So, okay, all right. So, Brendon, so are you volunteering to go with us next year?
I 100%. I will go. Okay. Yes. I'll bring my my Sony stuff. I got a bunch of good gear, and you guys tell me what we're gonna do, and I'm a team player.
Do you think we could put up with Brendon?
I think you should go.
Yeah, I think we could do it.
And I'm a big guy. I'm 6'2", 320 pounds. So I'm a big guy. So I can block the door like a butter knife.
Yeah, they'll have to bring us in
alone.
3 different flights.
Right. I can barely take an elevator with a crowd of people, Adam. So I'm the one that gets on and it buzzes, right? It's like, I gotta get off the
the area.
Yeah, everybody says
beautiful too. It's just unreal. It's beautiful. You're fishing, and then the night comes, and these guys come creeping in, and it's a dream. It was a dream, and it was on my bucket list. And
it has to be. I mean, as a Bigfoot, Chris, as a Bigfoot researcher, and I follow a lot of your stuff. That is it's like the Mecca, right? One of the Meccas of Bigfooting, I would imagine.
Yeah, we were looking because Cliff wanted the board that from the original with the nails in it, and we couldn't find it. We searched underneath.
We did search everywhere.
Well, that was
we need to ask Wayne, and that brings up a topic, Brendon. When Wayne, the outfitter, was told about what we were planning on doing, he started offering his own stories. And this guy's he's a bush pilot. Those guys do not talk about Bigfoot. Trust me. I have flown with many of them, hundreds of them. They will not talk about the topic. Wayne was the exception. He even told about a plane crash that he was in near Snellgrove, like 2-3 miles from Snellgrove. He crashed the plane, and he's bleeding profusely. And he actually ends up, he has a satellite phone with him. He calls the main lodge, and they tell him, oh, dude, we can't pick you up because there's not a lake big enough next to you that we can even land. You're going to need to walk 2-3 miles, north to get to this bigger lake. So apparently he takes moss, and he straps it to his head, ties it up, and starts walking. He's leaving a trail of blood through the forest. And Adam, can you tell the rest of the story here?
Yeah, so he's bleeding and he's following the GPS to get to this other lake. And he says he hears something in the woods and he thinks it's a bear. And he's really nervous because he doesn't have a weapon. And he's bleeding and he just thinks that it's just about ready to come out and attack him. But then something odd happens. It picks up a stick and it starts whacking the bushes. And he was confused, and he's like, he didn't know if it was a bear that's going to come out or not, but he said it followed him the entire way, just whacking the bushes with a stick.
And this is the middle, literally, of nowhere, correct?
Oh, yeah, nowhere. Yeah.
That sounds so much fun.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna play just one weird. I mean, we have literally, for God knows, we have hundreds and hundreds of weird things that we have to analyze. Already, we're sending stuff over to David Ellis to be analyzed scientifically. But here's a sound.
He's freaking out. He loves it.
This could be a growl. It could be what we were talking about as the Bigfoot purr, but this was recorded right outside my window. Here, the thing on there. Guys hearing that?
Yeah.
And you wonder, what is that? We don't know.
It only does it once?
Yeah, it did that one sound, and we've got vocals, we've got all sorts of stuff, and so when
there's a lot of other sounds too.
we have so many other sounds, tons of wood knocks, tons of this, tons of that. We don't want to obviously give away everything we have. For all you know, we've got footage of Bigfoot.
Well, you can't give away the farm.
Well,
just tease it.
I'd love to, but I can't. We have so much money invested.
Yeah.
But we do want people to know it'll be an exciting segment. And maybe the story's not over yet. If we can work
there's
out all
Dave.
these
Hi, Dave.
technical things. It sounds like
I like Dave.
Bud is just as crazy as you, Adam.
Yeah.
He's willing to go
And
out.
obviously Brendon is too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Doug
I know,
knows-
but
Doug
I'm
knows
talking
a little
about you guys going up there for a full 30 days.
That would be insane.
Yeah.
Now, are they going to drop in, is there a generator to charge batteries and stuff like that? Is there a
Yep.
solar generator up there or a propane or?
It's electric gas generator. It's nice and quiet. It's huge. It actually has enough power to heat a water heater, so you got hot showers even.
That's what Doug was saying. That's a luxury.
It is a
It's
luxury
insane.
resort, yeah.
Yeah, you're in the
Wayne-
middle of nowhere.
Wayne runs
You
a
have
tight
this little
ship up there.
cabin. Yep.
I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight.
Still an outhouse, though. You still got to go visit the outhouse.
And, the outhouse isn't an option at night.
No, no.
Off limit. Make sure you do your business before sundown.
Yeah, there's an emergency bucket. And
You bring in a honey bucket.
There you go. A bucket, yeah. A bucket.
That
and the toilet rolls
40-foot walk to the outhouse in the middle of blackness is pretty terrifying.
like a mile.
Yeah, it might as well be
it's
20
yeah.
miles.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh,
Man.
and to make it worse, they cut a ventilation screen in the outhouse, but of course they put it at Bigfoot eye level, so it's just big enough for him to peek in and watch you.
And every day, and no matter what, you see something, right? You're like, if a branch shakes, somebody's watching me, and it's at Bigfoot level. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's crazy stuff. So, okay. So have you had a sighting, Brendon?
I have not had a sightings per se. There are several guys in the group have had one. First of all, I had one, and I was able to verify it. I wouldn't shut up about it, right? I would be a proponent. If you know, Doug, I kind of sit on the fence, right? I'm kind of like the Tucker Carlson of Bigfoot right now. I like the skeptics and the believers. I'm right there in the middle because I think everybody has a valid case at this point. But I tell you what, man, if I've heard stories and if I tell you if I came across one at 5, 6 in the morning, like a hunter, because I hunt, I tell you, man, that would be a game changer. I mean, Chris and Adam, have you guys, who's seen one here that's seen one and go, man, I can tell you 100% without doubt that was a Bigfoot.
I just started hunting this year, so I haven't had an experience yet. My wife told me, she's like, "You're not going to find Bigfoot on your couch. You better get out in the woods." And so I'm excited to join the club.
Yeah. So Chris, you did, huh? Where do you live, Chris?
I can tell you for 100% that Bigfoot is real. 100%.
Yeah. Where do you live, Chris?
I live in Northwest Connecticut.
I went to Yukon.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Go Huskies.
Yes, go Huskies. That's cool. It's amazing because it's I would love to have, and that's why I'm like, did anybody see one? Did anybody see one? Did anybody see one? Because you hear so many different stories from so many different people about what it looks like, how it acted. It's like, I don't know. I'm still on that fence of what is it? Because I do believe when I started out, I did believe, okay, it's flesh and blood, right? And everybody's flesh and blood. And the more stories I listen to, because I tell you, doing the show, I go through a lot of stuff. I have like 386 YouTube channels I'm subscribed to for Bigfoot. So I try to watch as much stuff as I can when I can. Of course, I double speed it, but But there's so many different stories of what it looks like, right? So is it long black hair? Is it red? Is it brown? Is it more human? Is it more ape-like? These are all stories that I would like to answer for myself and see it. And until that day, but like you said, you're not going to find it behind a keyboard. You're not going to find it on a couch. You're going to have to get out there. And living in the Catskills, we try to get out as much as we can. We are right in the middle of doing a Tom Messick documentary up in Warren County, and that's a Bigfoot area, up by Lake George. And you hear stuff, and you got to vet it. And it's but if I tell you, I need to see one. That's all I'm saying. I'm hitting my groove right now. I'm feeling better. I had some surgeries. I've lost a lot of weight, and I'm ready to go. And I have a lot of energy. So yeah. I unfortunately no, Doug. So the short answer is no, not yet.
So what are your thoughts, Alex, when you hear all these crazy stories?
I'm not going up there without a shark cage.
But I mean, literally, are you a believer? I mean, I don't think I've ever really asked you.
I mean, how could you not be after listening to all these stories, one after another? These are multiple witnesses, right?
Yeah.
This isn't just a one-off person.
But when you don't see one, and I've had the pleasure of seeing 3 of them, never from the front though, so it still leaves that doubt.
Mm-hmm.
I was from the rear, and that's just really sucky luck, because I still, in my mind, have not seen one of them yet, because I haven't seen one, so I still have that doubt. But I mean, even your own dad's seen one, but I do wonder if you really even believe, or we hang up and you go, oh my God, my dad's a nut.
I just don't know whether or not they're, I don't know if I'm in the aper camp or if I'm in their, coming out of paranormal dimensions.
That is a good question for this group right here. And I know where Doug sits, because Doug and I go back and forth on the aper and the woo the
Adam, woo versus the apers.
Yeah, woos and the apers, right?
All right. So everybody everybody's on screen. Raise your hand if you lean towards the woo end of it, the paranormal end. So
all right, which one's the woo? Is the hand up the woo?
Yes.
So okay, apers one. We can just crush you guys.
Whoa.
I don't know if I would say aper, but I think it's physical.
You think it's physical?
It could be physical. When I say woo paranormal, I'm not saying it's coming out of a spaceship.
I'll say that, flesh.
Well, but it can also be. It could be, and I know I'm going to lose a lot of fans right now. But it could be, and I really don't care. But it could be. It could be some sort of physical interdimensional thing, because you've been up to northern Minnesota, Doug, up there, and you know what goes on up there with Mike Quast and that group. Yeah. And so there's. I don't doubt that there's a physical presence to whatever it is, because it leaves trace evidence behind, right?
Yeah.
But
so are you saying, Brendon, they're metaphysical? Like when they're here, they're very physical, and when they're not, they're not.
Yes. Somehow, some way, they're able to get in and out of this plane of existence. And I know that sounds completely insane, because I'm hearing myself say it.
Yeah.
But if it's just a big ape man in the woods that's physical, there's the technology, somebody would have gotten much more clear evidence by now. I have to believe that.
What puzzles me is, how do they know what a camera looks like?
Elephants do that all the time. Elephants do that all the time, right? They put a trail camera in Africa somewhere, and an elephant will find it and destroy it. A bear will smell the lithium battery and destroy it.
Yeah, so, I was telling Adam tonight about, they've done studies with wolf packs, and they have never filmed an alpha male wolf. They'll always send the scouts out. The betas will get filmed by these game trail cameras, but never the alpha male. So,
yeah,
thanks, Dave.
I think I just want to go past the woo thing. I think we should get rid of that woo term. I think you should call it high strangeness. The woo is more like Rick. The woo was something they made up back in the 70s to make fun of people that thought this way, and I think they're flesh and blood. Why they're here? They hunt, they sleep, they're here, they walk, they leave footprints, they defecate, they do everything that we find signs of. but there's that something else about them. There's just something else that they come and go when they want, and they're not. That's why they're so hard to find. They got to be going in and out of somewhere, and I can't prove it, but that's the way I feel. But I think I'm into the both. I'm not in just they're a spiritual. I think they're flesh and blood while they're here, but they also can do whatever they do to go somewhere else. So
I believe that too. I think, Chris, you're hitting the nail right on the head as far as I think. Yeah.
What about Adam?
And for me, I believe that the people telling the high strangeness stories are legit, but I have to believe that they're physical and that they can't just go through a portal whenever they want to. Otherwise, I'll never catch them. I just have to say they're real, they're physical. They can't escape me. I got to go get them, because if they can just portal out anytime they want, I'll never catch them.
You're hosed.
Yeah, see, I don't know how that works, but I agree with you that you, because you have to have some sort of hope, right? It's like you're not playing fair. Come on, you're not playing fair. You can't just disappear, right?
Exactly.
But
you can't be invisible.
I think honestly, and I know, God, it's just every time I hear it, my friends are watching this show, they're going to go, God, you're such an idiot. But I know, because I know Eric's watching and Amy and all these people that live here in this town, and they get fun with the Bigfoot thing. But I do think it takes them some sort of energy, right? They can't just snap out. I think they have to do some sort of process, so they can't just phase out. So that's why you catch glimpses of them and people see them. But it's, if it was easy, we'd have all this footage, right? So we need to outfox the fox here, gentlemen.
Well, I mean, to me, my argument is they have a lot of super abilities, not super paranormal, super high intelligence, super strength. They can leap, they can crawl, they can move really quick.
Read
They're
minds.
extremely strong. But I think their intelligence level is far higher than what we can comprehend in their environment. In their environment. Just think about, even what a Native American, their intelligence of the outdoors, in their area. I just don't think much got by them either. So I don't know. I'm just going to kind of stick to that, and because if they're paranormal, I can't do much about it, and
No, we'll get them, Doug. We'll get them.
Oh, speaking of paranormal, we actually had a paranormal experience up at Snellgrove too.
What was that, Adam?
Do tell.
Oh yeah, it was. I told Doug the first night, and I kept it kind of quiet because I didn't want to freak anybody out. But I felt something sit on my leg.
Yeah, I do remember you telling me that. Yeah.
And it wasn't scary or anything. It was just
that was
weird.
night one.
That was night one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Chris followed. Once I told him the story a couple days later, he's like, "Yep."
Yeah.
Go ahead, tell your story, Chris.
I'm standing next.
All right. Well, describe what you felt and when.
Me.
First off, was there
activity on my leg?
Just hang on, Adam. Was there activity going on outside the cabin when this happened?
No, it was right when we got in bed. We literally had just kind of laid down. And
we didn't get in bed.
Oh God.
Okay, sorry. Right when we each got in bed separately.
In our sleeping bags.
Grove stays.
Yeah, that came out wrong. Thanks for catching that one.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we had just turned in for the night. Everyone climbed into their bunks respectively, and all of a sudden something sat on my legs, and I was fully wide awake. I hadn't even dozed off yet. I'm just like, what was that? And then it got up, and I'm just like, I told Doug about it the next day because I didn't want to freak anybody out right away, and I'm just like, that was really weird.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of I've heard not in the Bigfoot case, but I've heard a lot of. We have a guy that covers paranormal stuff, and that has to be a weird sensation.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was kind of normal in a sense because it just felt like someone sitting where I was. It wasn't like they were wiggling around or jumping around. They just like sat down on me, and I'm like, "Why are you sitting on me?" And it just got right back up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how many creatures do you think were at Snell while we were there? What was your sense, Chris?
My sense for. Okay, go ahead, Chris.
Let's let Chris go first.
My guess, I'm guessing there was 4. I think there was 2 little ones and 2 adults. That's my guess.
Okay. Adam?
Just the antics that was going on. There was so much mischief at night, so much curiosity, and then the thunder came, and he wasn't around the whole week, I don't think, but Mama was, because I think she was the one that was pressing in on the cabin and watching what the little ones were doing, because they were scurrying all over the place. But so that's my guess. I should say 4.
And I would agree with Chris, 3 or 4. Can I tell Can I tell the zipper story?
Well, yeah, do it quick, and then we're going to take a quick break. We're going to play Brendon's This Week in Bigfoot spot and some other things. Go ahead, Adam.
Right in the morning, as I was starting up the generator, I heard a weird noise. It sounded like a zip or a electrical arcing sound, and I went and I turned the generator off because I thought somebody might get electrocuted. And after I turned the generator off, it was still going. So I sat there and I listened to it, and I was starting just to look into the woods and just waving into the woods like, hey, I see you. And all of a sudden, a larger, deeper sound from behind this first sound was kind of like, knock it off, you've been spotted, and it was like zip, zip, zip. And then the big one went zip, zip, zip. And I'm like, what was that? So I felt like there was probably like the mom and the juvenile, like knock it off, he sees you.
Communicating.
It was a weird experience.
They were somehow communicating.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're gonna take a quick break, and then we'll be right back, everybody.
Thanks.
Hello once again to everybody out there in Untold Radio Land. This is Brendon Brown, host of the fastest 30 minutes in the cryptid world, This Week in Bigfoot. Here's what we got coming up on this Friday show. Otzi the Iceman may be much older than originally thought, and once again, cutting-edge DNA technologies leading the charge to find the truth. Mike Lucci takes a look at the gene that got us all walking on 2 feet. Snowwalker's at it again with another brand new 2 Minutes With, and Maryland researchers turn up some mighty impressive track waves and nests. These stories and a whole lot more this Friday night at 8:15 on the next This Week in Bigfoot, only on CARC Universal. You better be there.
Show your support for the Untold Radio Network family of shows and join in on the conversation by using super stickers and super chats on YouTube. Got a question you want answered? Ask it live via a super chat and get real-time responses from our show's knowledgeable hosts and guests. Help keep the Untold Radio Network shows running strong. We need your support. Send your super chats and stickers now.
Hey Untold Radio Network fans, want exclusive perks and to support our channel? Introducing our YouTube membership program with 3 amazing levels. Get loyalty badges that level up to different cryptids the longer you're a supporter. How cool is that? You'll also get access to custom Bigfoot emojis and priority in chat. Upgrade to Backstage Pass for exclusive wallpapers, photos, status updates, discounted books, and merchandise. Go all in with the producer level for everything mentioned plus member shoutouts. Ready for an enhanced experience? Join now, pick your membership level, and let's make this journey even more exciting together.
And we're back.
Yeah, and we're in a different order. What happened?
I'll take Doug Hajicek the block.
Yeah. 50 bucks for Adam. Okay.
Hollywood Squares.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Exactly. So where do you think this mystery is going, Brendon? Do you think it's just going to continue to get more followers and more interest, or do you think it's going to die down?
Well, it's amazing. We did a segment not a couple months ago about Dogman, right? The rise of Dogman, and is there enough room at the top for 2 big cryptids? Because if you look, Dogman is gaining traction, right? You used to never see a Dogman convention, right? Now there's Dogman and Bigfoot conventions. But to tell you the truth, Bigfoot is the big boy, right? There's so many conventions, there's so many channels, there's so much content. And if you guys go to these shows, go to these conventions, you see thousands and thousands of people. It's got a movement that is just so crazy. And I think it really relies on what's going on with Orca and what's going on out in University of Copenhagen with this DNA collection, and with Doug, what's going on with your group is will the technology outsmart the smartest creature that occupies this earth when it's here? Like, can we catch up to that? The problem is we are digging into our own pockets for this, right? This is not a giant funded group. We don't have millions of dollars to do this, so it's hard and it's going to take a while. But I think, if we can get if the technology continues to get the vacuum pumps and all this stuff, and then Darby figures out a way to sequence the DNA, we get all this stuff, and then I think it's eventually going to, and then somebody's going to get lucky. I think eventually somebody will get lucky and get the footage that everybody goes, okay, this is undoubtedly, you cannot, this is it, there it is. You can't, it's hard with AI and computers. Everybody's, all this stuff. AI is probably the worst thing that could happen to Bigfoot right now, because it's just cluttering the bandwidth with all these fake videos, and they're getting good, right? But it's such a huge waste of time for people that are trying to sift through what's out there, right? So it's kind of, we're going to rely on technology with the eDNA, right? We're going to try to get that up there, but we're also fighting technology on the other side, right? Yeah. With the other stuff. So it's and then you need the people, and you need the people that are going to Snell. You need the people that are hitting the woods of Oklahoma, Arkansas, Kentucky, Connecticut. You need the people that are out there to bring in the stuff for people to dissect and vet and say, this is good, this is bad. You need the samples for Darby to process. So it is a team effort, but unfortunately, we all know that not everybody plays fair in this community. It's a very convoluted, complicated, sometimes selfish community, and it's really hard because I think really we're all looking for the same thing, right? We all want to figure out what's going on, but everybody doesn't always want to play fair or play nice, and that's frustrating. It really is. So that's where I think it is. I think it's moving forward, and it's gaining momentum, and it's gaining followers, right? You have Bigfoot fans, right? And then you have Bigfoot researchers. And the Bigfoot fans hopefully will finance the Bigfoot researchers and try to get the money we need to do the projects that you guys are doing. It's hard because Doug knows it's very, very expensive to do it right. You have to do it right.
Brendon, I'd like to challenge you. I'd like you to challenge to program ChatGPT to locate the next Bigfoot. Use technology for our advantage. Have it scan all the previous locations and predict the next location of Bigfoot. Okay.
I work with ChatGPT all the time, but I have to fight ChatGPT all the time because GPT will tell me that Bigfoot isn't real all the time, right? Bigfoot isn't real. So hypothetically, you have to say hypothetically, where would ChatGPT do? So that'd be fun. And Mike Lucci, who's kind of the professor of our show, he's kind of the smart guy. I will put him on that. That's if you put the algorithm in, I think. Yeah, I mean it's. But you talk to people, like I said, you talk to people in Oklahoma that say this is where it is. You talk to people in North Carolina. Everything's coming out of Kentucky. Every 2 or 3 days, something's coming out of Kentucky. So I'm a firm believer. Everybody says Pacific Northwest. I get it. But there's a lot of stuff going on in the Southeast and in the East Coast, and especially up in Michigan and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm hoping that it's somewhere in the United States, right? I'm hoping that it's somewhere that we can get to, North America, not the tundra of northern Canada or the archipelagos of Alaska. Right now, Expedition Bigfoot is on Prince Edward Island, right? I think it is in Alaska. Right? That's where they were filming season 4. I think it's Prince Edward Island
I don't even know where they are.
Yeah, so it's up there, and it's not that big of an island, right? Yeah. So if you could do some sort of close in, right? Like almost like a deer drive with people, and then to try to try to get them in a, I don't know. It's these are all things that I think about all the time because I do a lot of thinking about this stuff. But I'd love to be a part of a team that because I have people that I work with, and don't get me wrong, I love them, but it's like this is kind of big league stuff here with working with Doug and you guys. That would be a lot of fun. And
I was going to say,
and I'll take that challenge, Adam.
Yeah, and there's millions of things that haven't been tried in millions of locations. Mm-hmm. It's not cheap, No, I mean, what's a greater hotspot than the place we were just at? Mm-hmm. That was super activity. We had pine cones thrown at you, doesn't get any hotter. But that doesn't mean you're going to go back there and they haven't moved on.
Exactly. It's not like you can just get there, right? You can go, okay, let's go up there for the weekend.
Yeah, everything's just this complex moving target. You can't get, for all we know, they won't come around when there's a full moon. I don't remember taking note when they attacked the cabins before, up at Snell, whether there was a full moon. I have no memories of that.
I think this time that the group that was there all took away ideas about coming back and trying what they want to do next time there.
Yeah.
It's already been talk about it. I mean, Bud's talked about it, Adam's talked about it, Doug's talked about it. Everybody's talked about what we can do different this next time and how we can go about it. And I mean, that place, if there's any place on earth that we're going to catch something, is at Snow Grove Lake, in my opinion.
And you have the advantage because
What Doug said is that it's such a vast area. There's no way there's going to be another human up there.
That's the huge thing. You should know the contamination level is
low. Yeah, it's very low. It's impossible. I remember when the bush pilot, when I told him about the cabin being attacked, he's like, well, I believe it was a Bigfoot rather than a human. I mean, there's a much greater chance it was, a Bigfoot. So,
wow.
Now, have you thought about and this is just is have the cabin and then have two people in a tent, like 50 or 60 yards away from the cabin? I don't know geographically what it looks like up there.
Yeah.
But if you have tried something like that, like bait?
Well, we've done that, and nothing's happened because when we did it, the weather didn't cooperate.
Yeah,
that's pouring rain. Like I said, you only have so many days.
Yeah.
And so when you try something, like we tried not using infrared lights, but the weather didn't cooperate. The moon didn't cooperate. Is that all, does that all happen on purpose? You kind of wonder after 35 years if something seems to go wrong every single thing you do.
That's frustrating. It's got to be done.
Very frustrating.
Because you're not like, it's not like you're by yourself, right? You're bringing a whole team up there.
Yeah,
and you got all this stuff.
We did everything right.
Right.
But then the weather didn't work out. We did everything wrong and the weather was perfect.
And then you get the knock, right? Or the one time you don't have the recorder on. The one time.
Well, Bud had gone out early in the morning and collected them. Well, if he wouldn't have collected them, they would have recorded the knock.
That's the thing. It's and I've talked to David Ellis about that too. He's like, there's so many people that had it and then they decide, okay, I got enough, I'm going to turn it off or get it, and then it's just
yeah, I know. Yeah, it's just decisions that are not anybody's fault, but they just you make a decision, then you realize in hindsight that was a dumb thing to do. So I've got 35 years of hindsight of dumb things I've done and dumb things that have happened. And it's kind of like someday we're going to have the perfect storm where everything's going to work out.
Yeah. Just
perfect, and then we're going to get the footage. So I still remain hopeful.
You have to, and that, like Chris said, you guys were up there. You had your boots on the ground. You know the area. Okay, we did this right. We did not do this right. So let's not do that. And then let's because if you don't learn from what happened, you're just gonna repeat themselves. And I think that happens a lot in this community. These people it's like the definition of stupidity, right? You're doing the same thing and expecting different results. Like, okay, you can walk around the woods with a bat and knock it. Okay, you get it. You're knocking a bat, and what's gonna happen? It's okay. We have wood knocks, right? We have those. Everybody's
but they don't have any recording equipment.
Exactly. Right. So, but now you guys know, and you're in it's somewhat. This is probably a very bad adjective, but it's a controlled environment as far as that there's activity there, right? It's there. So now, how do you capture that activity and outsmart So that's
well, like tonight, me and Adam. One reason I like to work with Adam, we'll meet every night and plan out a new strategy. Like when he was up in Reamer, and we tried so many. We had operation this, operation that. And one of the things we want to do at Snell Grove is to have a system of LED lights that Adam can turn on from his bed to light up. You hear a bunch of noises. These things are on the porch, and light them up, with a silent switch. Then the cameras hopefully will get something. But it's going to have to be instantaneous. And like that's never been tried ever.
Yeah.
You know, just it's a simple plan.
Oh, so have them stationed like solar or some sort of solar lights.
A bunch of IR floodlights ready to.
Yeah.
And cameras are all set, but they're not emitting light.
Right.
And then you hit that switch, and 15 IR lights just flood the area in all directions, and all the cameras go live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, the cameras would be recording.
Yeah, the cameras are rolling. Exactly.
They're already rolling.
They're rolling,
It's just they don't care because the cameras are hidden. Like we had them hidden under the porch. But
that's a great idea. That is
if
a great
we could
idea.
have just hit right, if you would have had that system,
yeah, that's called Operation Ambush.
We may have had something.
Yeah.
I believe we had a number of animals on the porch. I mean, at one point the picnic table went flying across the porch. I mean, we recorded that, and so they were definitely, I mean, Chris, you could hear them clearly walking on the front and the back porch.
Yep. They were all, like they said, they were doing what they do. They're curious. They got to touch things. They got to pick it up. They got to look at it. They got to make sure that it's, it's just what they do. And the recordings that I've heard so far, I can't really tell. I'm not going to say too much about it, but there will be no doubt in anybody's mind what's walking around.
So John Branachuk says, I believe they sense electrical fields. I think that's complete BS. And here's why. They were standing on our cameras that were rolling. They were standing on top of them. So they weren't afraid of them because they couldn't see them and we didn't have IR emitters. They just didn't know they were there. It isn't like we just put them barely under the porch. They were back a foot. No way they could see them.
Yeah, I think people use that as an excuse. No offense, John, but I think people use that as an excuse for just because you get the same people that say, go low tech, don't bring anything, right? Well, you don't bring anything. Well, you don't have anything to show, so that doesn't work.
Yeah. And they don't mind audio recorders at all for some reason. They just don't mind them. They'll pick them up and run around with them. They'll scratch them. They'll throw rocks at them. So I don't think it's the electrical, But I do get angry when I hear that statement because it's giving literally thousands of researchers reasons to not bring cameras or audio recorders.
It's a poor
it has ruined this whole research platform. People with that attitude, that's the electrical. They could be right, but that's not a great excuse to not bring something. It's kind of like even an audio recorder.
You're better off capturing something than nothing.
But I'm definitely a believer. IR light they can see, better than we can. I believe they can see. They spot things that are just hot out of their environment. So take time to hide things. If you have a game camera, bury the damn thing. Just leave the lens sticking up.
Yeah, Les Stroud did that, I think, on Survivor Man. He had some sort of he just had the lens and then a cable go into the battery or the hard drive.
Yeah, that was mine. I'm the one that supplied those. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but he also did the last episode of that series. He was like somewhere in Portland, some hippie guy at the airport. He wanted to go low tech, right? So he didn't bring any technology into the field. And it was like the worst episode. It's like, okay, what are we watching here? You picked the guy up from the airport? Ah, it's great. Awesome. It's like, so if you can't present it to the public, it doesn't work.
Yeah. And once again, I think literally you could say we just proved they're not afraid of the electrical. Those cameras were rolling live. That sound I just played was from a camera, not from an audio recorder. And the thing was standing right on top of it. So did it sense the electrical? No.
And John, if you are worried about that, they do make Faraday cloth. You can wrap your cameras in it.
Absolutely.
You won't be able to control them because it'll block the IR, the Wi-Fi signal, but the camera should still roll.
And so, that's why I'm a believer now in full rolling cameras. Just let them roll. Maybe they sense the passive IR sensors for some reason, and they gather heat. And I don't know why they seem to avoid those passive IR sensors. It makes no sense to me. Maybe it's just the color of them. I don't know. Who knows?
Do they emit any sound, any type of electronical anything?
Well, we were using surveillance cameras, and certainly nothing we could hear.
Yeah, but that doesn't. That's the thing. Is like, that would be the only thing I would think is they.
I can say this,
something.
Brendon. If you're going to hear sound from a camera, you're going to hear that snow grove. I mean, you could hear your own heartbeat there. You know, if there's no wind, it's very.
That's the only thing I can think is they hear something in an audio frequency that we can't pick up. That kind of. And I mean, and this is just me spitballing here because you have to. Why are we not be able to? Why can we not get footage when you have trained individuals? I'm not talking people walking around the woods with their GoPros. I'm talking about people that are trained professional filmmakers, like Doug and his crew. Why can they not get the footage? It's so. It's just it is so.
Well, yeah, I guess another reason is so many factors have to be perfect. Okay, let's just talk about the Patterson Gimlin. I think you had a female that was hiding a juvenile that was stashed. So it wanted to lead him away, so it came out in the open. There was a raging river. There was a giant tree knob. They were on horseback, so they were, it probably sounded like a group of elk walking up on them.
And the horse maybe set the scent with the horses kind of.
Scent,
So it was the perfect storm.
Yeah, the perfect storm. That's why it's a multi-step. Plus, he had a spring-wind camera, right, to just pull the trigger. It was going. Fixed focus, no on button. I'm telling you, if Patterson would have had a cell phone, he would have got one thing. Nothing. If Patterson would have had a cell phone in his pocket turned off like we all do, there would have been no footage. Nothing. So
So when are we going? I got to get a calendar. When are we going?
We are booked from August 20th to August 27th.
Perfect.
Oh, when are you going alone? Next week?
I'll go anytime. Just give me a camera and a big pot of coffee.
So how's it looking for you making the trek next Tuesday?
It's a little tight right now. Yeah, I'm having some Starlink issues.
Okay.
So there's some missing cables that aren't going to show up until Monday, and it's going to be tight to leave Tuesday.
Yeah. So. Okay. Well, one doesn't have to leave Tuesday, but by the way, the blueberries were ripe up at Snell. There was a very stunted crop because of it's been dry apparently up there. The blueberries were tiny, but there were plenty of them. Tons of Juneberries though. Juneberry crop looked good. So
I'd like to add too, the only animal that we saw the whole time we were up there was a seagull.
Oh, no, we forgot about a family of otters.
Yeah,
the otters on a rainy day.
And the moose, right? Wasn't there a moose?
That was on the drive up.
Okay.
Yeah, and the flight end.
Right, but no other animals, no caribou, no moose, no nothing around Snow Grove except for that's one seagull, and he disappeared for like a couple of days too, or at one time. So
yeah, what was that all about?
Yeah. So the rumor has it if they're around, wildlife turns off, the forest turns off, and but he even had his fish meal for him all the way across the lake, and he disappeared. He wasn't even eating that, so something was up.
Yeah, but I think they probably eat because you were catching fish left and right, so they probably are not. They eat well, right? So I don't think they're going to come and just take your. I mean, yes, it's bait, but I think they eat well up there, so they're not starving. So maybe they're just like, I'm not interested. I mean, spitballing here.
Yeah, I mean, if I was to guess what they're eating up there, it would be caribou. I think that they would. There's tons of spruce grouse there. I think they would eat a lot of grouse. I think it would just change seasonal, but meat is available all year. Completely available. So whether the question is, Adam, are they up there in September?
Right
yeah,
exactly.
I don't know. The latest I've gone is October. No Bigfoot activity.
Yeah, see, that's the thing is because it's where do they go from there though? Right? Do they wander? Is that in Saskatoon or what province?
It's in Ontario.
Ontario. Oh, it is okay.
Yep.
And Doug called it. He predicted it. He's like, they don't like the rain. So when it started raining, we didn't have any activity.
No.
That's when I had my howl. It was raining. It was.
Oh, really?
Was it a light rain or a heavy rain?
It was a light rain. It had been raining all night, and that's what
rain.
was frustrating because the audio, we had to really dig it. And David Ellis actually took the audio and brought it out, but it was the rain on the tree leaves. And then the next night, it was crystal clear with a bright moon. You could hear for miles, nothing, not a peep.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know if I've never ever gotten anything with using moonlight because maybe they don't come around. Maybe that's why they came around to night 1 and 2 because it was so dark.
Well, a lot of animals will move, like wildlife, like deer, bear, will move with the weather front, right?
Yeah.
With the pressure and the barometric pressure, they will move and feed and get situated before the weather changes. Ideally for us, a bright moon would be great, but I don't know. I haven't had no luck on bright moonlights for anything.
Somebody asked about wood knocks, whether singles or doubles. I would say singles. All of them were.
Yeah.
Everything was single.
The thunder knocks were doubles?
No, they were single too.
Okay.
Thunder knock was a single, and I have never heard. I'm still kicking myself not having a recorder. We were packed up. All our stuff was on the dock, ready to be picked up by the plane. We were ready to be picked up, and then that happened. I mean, I wish I had on recording because nobody's. I guarantee you, I bet anybody $200 or whatever that nobody's ever heard this knock before ever. That's how
so heartbreaking, Chris.
It is a heartbreaker because there was 3 of us that heard it, and I'm not going to lie to you. I felt it go through my chest. It hit my chest. I felt it and go through me, and I knew how high it went over my head because me and Bud asked each other the same exact question. Did you feel that? And did you think how high it was at the same exact time? It was crazy.
You got to just keep the digital recorder somewhere and just rolling, like put it in a pocket on a jacket or something like that. And just, but you learn, right? Like you said, Chris, you learn.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's one of the things that Bud and I talked about. We're gonna, got to keep and Doug and I just talked about it the other day. We got to have a recorder going 24/7 while we're there next time.
I think David Ellis, Doug, he's got those hard drives that record. I know he did it up on the Olympic Peninsula for days and days and days and days. And then he's got some sort of algorithm where he can kind of scan through it quickly to see what's going on. So he doesn't have to sit there and listen to 48, 72 hours of stuff.
Yeah.
But the technology does. Yeah. I mean, that would be the way to go. And then have condenser mics or something shotgun mics out and just roll that thing the whole time until the plane takes off. But like you said, Chris, it's a learning experience. Yeah. And hopefully it'll happen again.
Yeah. But I would like to add this. Adam did have the drone flying around earlier that morning all over the place. So who knows what we might have caught out in the woods around the camp. Yeah. Was I supposed to say anything about the drone? I'm sorry.
Look at Doug's face.
Drone?
I want to.
All right, forget it. We didn't have no drone.
There was no drone.
We take that out in the edit, Alex, right?
That was
take
a
that
kite.
Out
we had a kite. We just had a
balloon.
kite.
If there's
the blimp.
If there's any programmers out there or people who are into AI, we need tools in Bigfoot hunting to have algorithms to pick out these sounds and help us record 24 hours a day and start throwing, weeding out the extraneous data, so that so the SD cards don't fill up, so the batteries don't die, all of these things. We need some people out there building specialized cameras, specialized audio recorders, specialized thermals, specialized drones, everything we need to hunt, and they're just, all the tools are kind of there, but they're not fully there.
Yeah. For instance,
they need to be modified. Yeah.
For instance, the surveillance cameras are great, but the mics are horrible. So Adam has been experimenting, soldering in high quality mics. Yeah. So customizing the.
Couldn't you bring like a little, just a digital recorder, like a Rode podcaster with 4 inputs, and just roll that thing with an SD card, and you could roll that thing will roll for 140 hours, right, of MP3. I mean, I'm just like I said.
I don't know the duration of the longest one, but the ones that I have they don't go that long. And I've been trying to look into which model goes the longest and sounds the best. I mean, being an audio professional, you can see I'm in a studio.
Really?
I record in WAV. I don't use MP3. I want the highest quality factor.
Well, I was just spitballing, yeah.
And if you record in WAV, you're burning through data.
Yeah.
You know, so MP3 saves everybody space, but you're going to lose a little bit of that quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, so you switch the card, right? So you just keep switching the card.
Yeah, but then what if you plant it 10 miles away from your base camp?
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
You got to run out in the middle of the woods and switch the cards.
Talking about around the cabin.
Yeah. So it all depends on where you're at. Yes, the cabin would be easy, correct. Yeah. But then that's exactly what we did. We ran out the next morning to go collect the SD cards and grab the recorders, and all of a sudden activity happened. And,
and we're watching.
We're holding the recorders in our hands.
Jesus.
Yeah, I think.
Wait, he's got it. Okay, go now.
Your time is up. It's for you guys to leave. That's what I pictured with that knock.
That was
I'm coming in. It's time for you guys to go.
Checkout time, right?
Yep. Checkout time.
So, David, what were your thoughts on the camera audio that we sent you? David's in the audience here. And David says MP3 320 is quite sufficient, it's true. You really should just go for the content. If you're going to record in RAW or WAV, and your card fills up and you miss all the activity, that's not good. We're off going with the lower. But David had David's already been looking at some of the audio. So
he is one smart guy when it comes to this stuff. I mean, everybody's worked with him, Adam. You know, and that's great that you're the techie guy, because I'm kind of a tech guy, and so now we can kind of
swap stories.
Swap stories and say we can both come back next time and say, damn, we missed him. No,
not missing him again next time. We're gonna
So who was the scaredest? Who was the nervous in the service guy? Doug didn't even hesitate. Doug, but you've been doing this for how many years now? And you got really
yeah. But I can tell you this. Okay, I'm not afraid to admit it. I'm laying in bed and I'm hearing this huge boom, boom, boom walking up to my window, and one of them was, and I'm right by the windows. These guys are like in their little wooden tombs, their hot box, and I'm right by the window. I'm right and grab. I'm right in that boggy creek. Just grab me and suck me right out the window mode. And my heart was racing. I'm laying there quiet. I'm trying to just think of other things. I'm listening. My heart's racing. And then, when it really got to where it was for sure wake Adam up. I wanted somebody awake. I woke Adam up. And then I scared the crap out of Chris. The night before I left, I was telling him more stories about this Snow Grove cabin. And I didn't mean to, Chris, either. And I did scare Chris pretty bad. But I would say I was a scared guy. It was me.
Yeah, but so you didn't. But you didn't look out the window. You didn't want to look out the window.
Hell no! Are you nuts? Hell no! Good night. I'm not looking out. No damn. I put a Packers curtain up, and that thing was standing out there. I could hear the damn thing breathing.
Oh,
you think I'm going to go? Oh, hey, hi. And it loses its temper. Have you ever seen a chimp lose its temper, or a gorilla? It's not a pretty sight. So I'm just like, I want to live. I want to go home and to my kids. And I'm just
but what a way to go, dude. Want to get hijacked by Bigfoot and just become a statistic, right?
That wouldn't be
Doug
good.
Hajicek is now a statistic.
Most people have not heard the story that Doug told that night. I'll tell you that right now. Nobody knows everything that's gone on at Snow Grove.
No.
After he told that story, it just brought me back to my first interaction. And then I'm just like, oh, boy. And now if this happens again... Oof.
Got you overthinking it, Chris?
Oh yeah, I overthought it big time.
Yeah, that's a tough one, man.
Night. It just lasted a couple hours, but if you guys heard the story, it would shake you. It would, and that's why.
Put it this way: I have courage to do lots of things. Our flight home was scary. I was talking to the Lord the whole way. We were just brushing the treetops, going home in the fog and I mean, I have plenty of guts, but I try not to be stupid. You know what I mean? I'm not like dumb brave, where you die.
Yeah.
You die young and dumb brave. They always say there's old pilots and bold pilots, but there's no old, bold pilots. That's me. I'm not, I like to be old and I don't want to be bold. And that's all there is to it. I'm just not bold. I'm not going to be peeking out the window. Hey, dude, what are you doing standing there looking in my window? It's not happening. No, if Adam would have said, "Hey, let me look out the window," okay, I would have stepped aside. Said, "Be my guest."
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
And Brendon, it's a weird situation because it was my first time being in the cabin and really experiencing this. But the first thing you think of is, I need to protect myself. You don't think of like, I need to grab my GoPro and run out the door.
Yeah.
Right. No, I get it. It's easier to say it here.
Mode.
It's easier for me to say this here than in the safety of my studio than being there. It's a total different story. I completely get that. But I just got to poke the bear here. I got to poke you guys.
No, you're absolutely right. And the next morning, all of us were just slapping ourselves going, why didn't we do this? Why couldn't we overcome that fear that's built in? And why couldn't we rush out the door? I mean, like Doug said, we couldn't even look out the window. I mean, it was...
I've got this in my head. I'm just like, no, I'm not looking. You look.
Yeah, and when you've got them on all sides, because we heard them on the left, we heard them on the right, we even heard them under the floor.
Under the cabin. They were under the cabin.
Yeah, but how high is the cabin?
Oh, what's up on stilts on the left side?
Because it's hard to tell in the picture.
Yeah, they were banging on the floor under the cabin. That was nice.
But you had cameras down there, right? Didn't you have cameras down there?
Yeah, we did. But it's pitch black.
Oh, man.
But to save face, I did take the GoPro on the last day and went to the outhouse with the camera rolling. Why pine cones were flying at me?
Yes, and it was light out, and you were with three men, and you could see what was in front of you. When you open a window, it's pitch black out there.
Oh no, I wouldn't have done it at night. I'm just telling you, I did it the next day.
No, and that takes guts too. It really does. I commend you for doing what you did.
Chris was brave. He looked at Bud and said, "Give me that camera," and he just marched down the end of the boardwalk right into that thing. And like you said, pine cones were flying at him. And
somebody's got to be the sacrificial lamb, right?
So it was so funny. The three of us have a cup of coffee and we're just sitting there drinking, and the pine cones are just coming over the outhouse at us. And we're all just saying, "Oh, here comes another one. Oh, that was a big one." And we're drinking our coffee. It was the funniest thing.
And you have that on GoPro, right?
We have that on GoPro, but it's GoPro footage again. So
yeah. Well, I mean, it's better than nothing.
Oh yeah, GoPro we'll enhance it and do what we have to do. Yeah. I've had wild bears sitting on me, just sitting right on me. I've had all sorts of crazy crap. I filmed the first time I'd ever been filmed cubs being taken away from a mom without tranquilizers, and I'm standing 3 feet from this, with a camera on my shoulder. I've been through all sorts of tons of harrowing things, but I'm going to tell you, when it comes to this big creature that we don't really know what it is, and it's standing a foot away from you in the dark, and there's just a little thin piece of plate glass
2x4s
separating you. No, not happening. I do not want to have my arm ripped off.
All jacked up, guys. Got me all jacked up now.
Changing your mind?
Like Adam was saying before, each night the activity got better. More knives entered the door.
That's funny. Like, that's going to stop anybody. But
No. I told everybody the knives are just to make more noise. As the thing comes into the cabin.
Hands in the window, like the little.
And I always remind everybody, it has been in the cabin. Yeah. So it isn't like it hasn't been in the cabin. It knows the inside of the cabin. So
tell them the story why you think that they come why you wear the baseball cap while you're up there. Tell them the story why you think that.
Oh God, yeah, I swear to God, I wore a baseball cap the whole time because I'm like, I am not in a total disguise. Did not want them to remember me and associate me with that damn nail board.
So the baseball cap was going to fool him? The smartest thing?
No, I was joking, but there was some truth to it. You know what I mean? They did cross my mind. If you're going to be in the cabin, wear a cap.
Well, he was just the first one in the cabin after it got wrecked. He was the first one.
I was the first person in that cabin after the cabin got destroyed.
I remember hearing about that. That's
so he thought they recognized him, so he wore the ball cap so they wouldn't recognize him the whole time, which is pretty brilliant.
Yeah. So it was half truth, half funny,
But they knew what room you were in, Doug. They knew where you were staying because they didn't come knocking on our door or on our side at all.
Weird.
Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, that is where a lot of the activity happened, right in that corner. But I'm just glad that you guys didn't feel let down going up there and making the long journey up there.
How could you after all this stuff? And we're only hearing like half of it.
Yeah,
I'm saving the good stuff.
Trust me, you're not getting the whole story.
Exactly, man.
David just mentioned that if we were under the effects of infrasound, it's a fight or flight. You can't escape that, and you're like. Yeah.
I mean, it's easy for me to say I would do this, I would do that. Everybody say I would have done that, I would have done that. But like David makes sense. The infrasound, it's a totally different ballgame, man. It is, and that's not just with Bigfoot, but anything in life. You especially when you have that fight or flight, you're thinking of just self-preservation, and then like David says with the infrared, or I'm sorry, the infrasound, that's even worse. I mean, it's just you have no option but to.
So, Brendon, the thoughts that entered my mind were, where are they? What are they doing? What are they going to do next? I was not thinking GoPro. Let's record.
Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah.
It was just weird. Yeah.
Did you guys write like a schedule of? Did you write like a timeline of when things happened the next day? Any type of a diary? It happened at 10:30.
Well, we have
10:45.
documented times on all the
timestamp. Yeah,
everything's time stamped, so we can recreate that. But we just know it was shit weather every day, no moon.
That's
thick clouds, light rain, and then heavy rain the third night. That was really heavy. And activity the fourth day or the fifth day. But other than that, and I think you guys slept with the generator on again, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
we were doing the trying to catch them between the lights.
Yeah. No, I got you.
So we had cameras on the inside of the cabin pointing out and cabins on the outside pointing in, and the lights between it, so we catch something crossing through. We needed the generator for that because we did try to power the cabin off the jackeries, but it didn't work. So
no, that makes sense.
We got a little nervous because the generator wouldn't turn back on. We couldn't get it back on for a little while. Luckily, Chris jumped in and saved the day. So.
I think you're 100% right with when we were talking about trying to figure out some sort of camera or lighting trap system, right? To where you have things that can come on at the snap of a finger, and then kind of catch them off guard. I think that you're right. You're smart thinking that to try to come up with something like that, and I think it'll work. But
I think having a parabolic on the outside where we're listening on the inside will help with that thing. Just if we can guess the direction they're coming from, because we'll hear them coming from a long ways away. And you hear them as soon as they get into the camp, then bang with those lights. But these guys are onto it. They have some great ideas. I learned a lot. I went out and bought like 4 cameras since I got back to do what they're doing and try.
Yeah, I got a ton of stuff, so that'd be good. It'd be a lot of fun. I'll bring my Sony. I got 2 Sonys, and I got a bunch of lav mics, a bunch of GoPro. I got a bunch of stuff. So. And come up with a plan. I mean, if we need to bring, you guys were there, right? So you have the advantage of knowing the situation and kind of knowing, or hopefully knowing how things work up there with these creatures. Yeah. So you can't just go in there blind, right? The first time and go, I know what I'm going to do, right? Because that doesn't work. So that's going to be a huge advantage for the next trip.
Hey guys, I apologize, but I didn't unpack my power cord and my laptop may die. So if I fall off, I apologize.
Yeah, we're about ready to wind up. Alex, after hearing all this crap, what would it take to get you up there?
Come on, big guy.
You have to chain me up and throw me in the airplane.
I'm with Alex. On that, yeah.
Really?
How about you?
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
Man.
I think we just send Alex and Eric up there alone.
There you go. I would watch that.
Have an exchange program. Alex and Bud can leave. And we sell it, and then we send up Alex and Eric.
We do need an Eric up there because Eric, you
Oh,
are
there you go.
meticulous. You're like the guy that we need to keep everything running on
Is
schedule.
he OCD guy? Is he one of those guys? like he? It's,
Well, I'm curious to know if they're, how long, the cabin's been up there. Maybe if we could talk to the original owners, or if there's any paper trail.
It's been there since '91. I was there the first year it opened.
Oh wow, okay.
I was there back, and we're going way back.
Yeah.
How many years is that? 34 years ago.
Wow.
Oh, and Eric, if you got up there and started researching, you'd find that the locals in the area have some stuff to tell you.
Yeah, I mean,
close is it?
I'm not much of a boots on the ground person. I'm more of a nerd behind my computer. So I'm just kind of listening in awe from all this stuff going on. I'm just like, fascinated.
So in Mission Impossible, you're the tech guy, right? Talking to Tom Cruise.
I don't know if I'm the tech guy, but I can.
You're the guy in the chair.
I'm the guy in the chair. That's a good one. Yeah, the guy in the chair.
The guy in the chair.
Yeah.
What do you mean? You found dungeons in the middle of Texas and with big doors. What do you think? I can't wait to hear more on that stuff, man. That's very interesting.
Congratulations, Eric. That's amazing. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
no,
So I want to say hi to Jeff. Jeff Harding's in the audience. Hi, Jeff. I
Hi,
miss
Jeff.
you. Give me a call.
Eric, real quick. So you found some underground dungeon with doors in Texas. Hasn't there been something like that found before somewhere down there? Or I'm missing the boat here?
That was Eric that found it.
When was that?
Oh, that was in
23, Jeff.
2020.
Okay, it was that story. Okay, that's freaking fascinating, man. I didn't know that was you. Wow.
Yeah, and I haven't been back there. I've had so many requests to go back there, but the last time I drove by there, I was trying to get there. Last time I drove back there, they had the trees in that area painted purple. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the purple post law in Texas. The purple post law pretty much means they can shoot on sight.
That's like the ultimate no trespassing.
You can look that up, and they are like, they have the ability to shoot on sight with that. We learned about that in school. That's a Texas thing. We learned about that in like elementary school. If you see these purple posts, don't even ask for help on that property. Just walk right on by. So that's kind of where we are. There is another way to get to it, but I don't know if I'm comfortable doing that on that piece of property.
What part of Texas was it?
Williamson County, Central Texas. It's like the hill country. We call it the hill country.
Okay. Wow, that's free. That had to be freaking pretty cool. I mean, it's like what is this? What is this? Like Bigfoot archaeology.
Yeah, well, who knows what it is? I mean, I'm trying to get some answers on it. And
why in the world would somebody bring a 1,300-pound door? How would he even get it up the hill?
It's in the middle of nowhere. There was no roads there.
And then only have a lock on the outside. That's to keep people in.
That's where the true story of Seven happened. Like the Brad Pitt movie.
You do wonder if that's some serial killer had that. Or,
that's what it is.
The door, you can't do that door by yourself.
Did you ever report that to the police, Eric? You should.
I probably should, but I haven't because, I don't know if I should say on live stream, but yeah, I might do that eventually. I'll just say that in Texas, there's a lot of private land, so I don't want to say anything that might get me.
Before you report it, I want to go there first, though.
We got to wait for that purple stuff to wash off.
He hasn't even explored it because he's, obviously he's concerned.
He doesn't want to take a 30-06 to the head.
I don't know if it was you, Doug, or it might have been Jeff that was talking about doing like a DNA swab of that area, just to see what might have been in there. And I thought that was interesting. I never even thought of that idea, doing some type of DNA collection in there just to see what all we might have traces of it. It'd be interesting.
So, Alex, stick up Ristol's comment, second from the bottom. Read that, Adam.
Offering 30 days alone at Snell? Adam may look like an 80s glam band. Thank you.
But he's got, bigger than King Kong.
Yeah.
Trust me, I agree. He was willing to go there alone. And I'm like, no.
Good boy, Adam.
No. Settle down, Adam. No, you can't do that alone.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I told him when he told me. I'm like, dude, no.
Are you nuts?
That would be, man. That would be.
I've been up there once again. I was up there alone.
I've never been
It
there.
was just peaceful, but not to do Bigfoot research.
Yeah.
They got your number at this point.
Well, okay, Doug has trained me well, because when I was alone in the national forest, the Chippewa National Forest, it was still pitch black out, and every night at like 11:30 in the middle of the night, he's like, "Go do a wood knock," and I'd be like, "I don't want to." He's like, "Get out there, go do a wood knock right now," and I'm like, I'd put the headlamp on and I'd climb out of bed and go find the bat and go do a wood knock in the middle, and he goes, "Wow, I can't believe you just did that." I'm like, "You told me to do it."
Oh, jeez.
No way.
Yeah, you did. There were numerous times I had you do little things, and
It's like
there were a
Big
couple
Brother.
times you snuck out on your own.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what you're up
there.
there for, right? That's what you're up there for, is to get this stuff going. So
Yeah,
so,
but you gotta realize, when you're alone and you're in a big forest, dang, there was a cougar roaming around his camp, and
Oh yeah. So I had some guys stop in on my site, and they're like, "Oh, you're back here alone. Like, I hope you got a gun." And I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Well, there's a mountain lion in the area that we're all trying to find." And I'm like, "Really? Thanks for telling me." So,
Oh my god.
yeah, you can't carry up there, can you?
but
You
the
can't bring
weirdest
any-
part about
no,
my
not in
experience
snow.
with-
No.
No, this was a Chippewa National Forest. The weirdest part is there was not a single critter other than a squirrel and a rabbit that came through my camp. And I literally went out into the woods and cooked 3 pounds of thick cut Hormel bacon, to try to bring anything in. And I hung each strip of bacon on a clothesline, and I waited for days for anything to take
Nothing.
it, and not even the
Wow.
ravens took it.
Not even
Man,
a
that's-
bird.
Yeah, that's
Weird.
frustrating.
That's weird.
Well, that's what you said, Chris. You said that when you guys were up there, there wasn't. You saw maybe a couple of birds, and the wildlife was.
One
And do you think it's because the apex predator is there? And then
That's what I've always, I've heard. Once we've all experienced it when this forest shuts down.
Yeah.
No bird sounds, no nothing. That means, to me, that's when the Sasquatch are around. And to be in the middle of 500 square miles of forest and lakes and everything, and to have one seagull and a family of otters in 6 days is just, to me, is just unheard of.
Now, why do you think Snell for these creatures? Why? What?
The evidence.
I said no. Why do you think the Bigfoot are there? What attracts them there?
I think because every 5 days there's a new group, and they have to put all their perishables out behind the cabin. Everybody brings way more perishables than they're ever going to eat. So they're throwing apples and oranges and God knows meat and all sorts of food out behind the cabin. And I think that's why they heard the thunder knock, because it's the dinner bell. If they're leaving, they're going to be out of here in 10 minutes. Come on, guys.
And Eric, you asked why do we have so many extra pork chops, right?
Right.
The point is you can get rained out, and you could have to stay an extra 3 or 4 days before they come and pick you up. So you have to bring extra food.
Or a week, or even 2 weeks, you could get stuck.
And you want to go there alone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah. It is pretty crazy. I admit it.
Yeah. I couldn't do it.
So there's a food locker. There's a perishable locker. Or do you guys?
There's a refrigerator.
No,
Right.
but you
Yeah,
put the
and when you're
perishables
done
back.
with your food, you just go out in the woods and chuck it.
Oh, I thought you said everybody puts their perishables behind the woods. Is that
Yes,
where
when you
throw it out?
leave. When you leave, Brendon.
Discard it.
Okay.
Discarding it.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right.
Yep, you got to pack all your trash out. You got to clean the cabin for the next group that might be coming in.
It's a nice cabin. I saw the pictures. It seems comfortable.
I think it's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's perfect.
It's just rustic enough and
Is there a
shacky
rowboat?
enough to enjoy it.
A rowboat or a canoe?
3 fishing boats with motors.
yeah.
That would be. What if you had somebody out in the lake at night, anchored out there?
Yeah.
and
We
out
would have
with the
done
camera?
that if we had better weather.
Yeah, because
No
that
one
would
wanted
be.
to- I had to spend hours bailing the boats out the next day. That's how heavy the rain was.
Oh man,
that would be a good idea to do that. Yeah, you're supposed to store them upside down. Robos.
Yeah, Bud had big plans for going out on the boat with the FLIRs, and he had all and it just rained every night, so we couldn't do nothing.
That's got to be. I mean, especially for the guy that brought the FLIRs, that's a perfect setup, right? You're 30 yards offshore. They probably downwind or whatever it is, and then you just can't see. That's so frustrating, man. Because you're like,
you can see for miles around you, so it'd be brilliant. Yeah.
Wait till you go there. Wait till you see it next year. You're going to be just amazed how beautiful this place.
Next week, Brendon. You're going next week.
Hey, I pack my bags. We got to check the weather.
So is Bud still on?
We're still talking about it.
Yeah, Bud's still here. Well, Bud's going next year for sure.
Oh yeah.
I'm talking about next week.
Yeah.
Don't know.
I don't know. I'm sure. I don't know.
Like I said, it's all just kind of talk and tentative, and lots to shake out before something like that can happen.
I tell you right now, if I didn't have to work, I'd be heading there for 30 days. No no questions asked. I'd be going.
And that's the thing too, where I get hit with. I've got kids and grandkids and work.
I don't have any.
I would love to go there for a month. I would love to go there for a month and just unwind and relax, because it's so wonderful during the day and
during the day.
At night, that's a whole other story. But whatever.
I think to habituate that area for any amount of time is where you're going to get major results. I mean, the short time we were there, we got really, really good results. Really good results.
And we didn't have to go very far. That came to us.
That's the beauty of it, man. That is the beauty of it. Is you are the bait, right? You're like a fishbowl for these guys to come and check you out and stuff like that. It's just we need to figure out how to get between them and the fishbowl, right?
It's a cool approach. The polar opposite. You got them coming to you. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, and it's amazing because, like I said, we are hearing very little of what happened, and everybody understands why. But what we are hearing is pretty amazing.
Heck yeah.
And I would be honored. Honestly, I know it's early in the game, but I would be honored to join and help crack this nut.
The weird thing that happened up there is we got out of Snellgrove, and we realized we never talked about one other topic. It was only Bigfoot, all the way up, all the way. I mean, it was just Bigfoot. It was,
dude.
Men will talk about sex or sports, nothing. Bigfoot. That was it.
Well, look where you are. Look where you are, right? That's like.
Well, yeah, but it was refreshing that everybody was that jazzed on the one topic and so focused. Yeah, that was cool.
And like you said, you guys, I think Chris brought it up earlier, everybody was on the same page, right? Nobody was trying to be the Superman hero, do his own thing. I'm going to figure this out on my own, because that doesn't work. That does not work at all. You have to come up with a plan like you guys did and stick with it. If it didn't work, then you adjust it.
We just adjusted it.
Yeah.
Actually, I was the superhero. I was the one that wasn't scared. I was the one that I was just so brave. Yeah.
Tough guy.
That was me. Oh, yeah.
The tough guy.
Didn't you raise your hand earlier?
Yeah, no, I was scaredy cat. Trust me.
Alex is shaking his head. Look at Alex looking at him. Alex is like,
my heart was going to race out of my chest, literally.
I have known Doug for years, and I've never seen that side of him before. It was interesting.
I was impressed when he told me that last week. I'm like, Doug, but you have been doing this for a very long time, and you've seen some crazy stuff. And that was still that says a lot. That says a lot. Did you guys? Was there any type of aerial phenomena up there? Any type of weird lights? Or why?
There was no sky. It was just thick clouds.
Yeah. Brendon, when you're in a cabin like Doug was, where they pick the cabin up, then it probably leaves a mark in your brain somewhere. Yeah.
If I have to bring one of those little portable hunting tree stands and sit in that thing all night, I'll do it one night. You know those things you just put in there?
Sure, after the first activity.
Now, come on, Doug.
You're all the racket. You might think twice.
And then you'll be in the tree stand, and then Chris's tornado tree. They'll be swinging you right outside.
And then I'll be just a story. I'll just be the story.
You'll be a catapult. What do they call it? What do they call those things where they sling pumpkins?
Right. Hey, flat Rockland. I'm not 340 pounds.
Bud and I tried to move a tree like that just to reenact it, and we couldn't even move the tree 5 feet.
Yeah, I mean that's a huge
5 feet. You didn't move it 5 inches. You didn't.
Come on,
you didn't move it 1 inch. Oh my God, we have footage. I have footage to prove it.
I know. You had to ruin it for me.
Sorry.
It's
5
all right.
inches. Anyhow, well, I think we have to go. It's 9:25. Thank you so much, Brendon. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Alex. I think it was kind of a weird show, but it was cool. I had fun.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
It's a pleasure to meet you guys, man. I'm looking forward to hanging, contacting and
see what happened, Brendon. See, this is what happens.
Yes.
Now you get something. Now you finally have something to look forward to.
Finally, have something to look forward to. What are you talking about?
I'm joking.
My hands are full. I'm busy boy, dude. Busy.
So, tell everybody where they can watch your weekly show, Brendon.
Well, it's this CARC Universal stands for. It's for Catskill Appalachian Research Collective, and it's our channel. It's CARC Universal. It's every Friday night at 8:15. This Week in Bigfoot. So we do everything from researcher news to witnesses to videos to podcasts and live streams to interviews, and it's all in like 30 minutes, man. It flies. It goes by real fast. We don't drag our feet, and it's non-biased, and it's all information straight from the cuff. We don't pull any favors, and it's a lot of fun. So we have a great bunch of group in the chat section. It's a lot of fun. Every Friday night, 8:15 on the CARC Universal channel.
Perfect.
Very cool. Thank you so much, everybody in chat. We had a very active chat. We really appreciate it, to all our members and people and all the involvement here. It was just, it was a good show. I enjoyed doing this. Really
Saw a lot of friends in there.
Yeah. So thanks, guys, and so long. God bless.
Peace.
All right, everybody.
I call you up in the middle of the night. Been bothered by dreams, ain't feeling alright. You give me comfort, say just give it some time. By the end of our talk, I'm